All right, thanks so much, guys. Yeah, what a difference a weekend makes in this case. Back to the upside today after the carnage that we saw back on Friday on the Omicron variant for COVID-19. The market's positive and then some at this point. It is tech stocks that are leading the way this afternoon as we head into the final 2 hours of trading here for a Monday. Yeah, big move here. You can see for the NASDAQ, 2.25% right now. Back to the upside, 1.5% right now for the S&P, 0.86% for the Dow. Nice to see everything on this board nicely positive right across the entire thing. 4% bounce back there for crude oil. That's off the highs we saw early on this morning. Remember, it was up more than 5% at one point today. 12% to the downside on Friday, remember, for crude. Bitcoin, Ethereum, both about 9% in positive territory. Here's a look at the board. Here's what we need to know this afternoon heading into, as I said, final 2 hours of trading. Software services leading the way here in the tech group. The semiconductors, all big movers as well. There's AMD, 3.25%. Qualcomm actually up more than that, about 4%. LRCX, MCHP, MPWR, to name a few, all having a great day. Hardware equipment makers back to the upside today as well. We'll shift down to the healthcare names, and I'll highlight Moderna there for you because 2 days in a row, we're now up about 32% if you add on Friday's rally on top of this. Pretty impressive for Moderna. Merck, on the other hand, back to the downside, 6% in negative territory for Merck. Bristol Myers there also in negative territory. But this group overall, the healthcare group, also in positive territory, helping the overall market, as are the industrial sector. GNRC there and Deere, the only two standing out, 2.5%, 3% to the downside. Caterpillar here as well. If you look at the retailers here, Best Buy, eBay, and Etsy, everything else in positive territory, including, all the travel names outside of Wynn. We highlighted a number if you joined us early on this morning, giving you all kinds of opportunities this morning. RCL, Sean's going to come up here and talk about one of these in a second, and we'll discuss some review. But Expedia down about, or up about 4.8% after being down that much or more going back to Friday. But yeah, nice rally right across the board here for the entire market. Here's the tech sector. If you drill down into the NASDAQ itself, you can see the overall tech group leading the way. CRWD standing out there in the software names in negative territory, 3.7%. Moderna, INCY, VRTX, as I said. Again, this is the NASDAQ, guys, versus, if I flip over here, that's the S&P, this is the NASDAQ. There's Peloton. That was positive by about 2% in the pre-market. We're now down 6% on the day for Peloton. As I said, let's jump into a few opportunities we presented to you. If you joined us this morning, make sure you join us every day at 8:30. We come on an hour before the market opens to talk about what is to come when the market does open. Get you set and ready for the day. Here comes Sean. He's going to talk a little bit about one of the trades he was involved in.
Thank you, Brendan. Yes, today's trade of the day, it's going to be a stinker to the downside as we look at Carnival Cruise Lines. And I sometimes think that we learn a little bit more off of our mistakes because we can sit here and show you, oh, I took this long and it went up $5 and great, I got out. But let's talk about reasoning on why sometimes we get stuck in losing trades. And I'm going to look at Carnival Cruise for the very first time here today and just give you guys a quick look. This was Wednesday or Thursday. This was Friday. You get a huge dump all the way to the downside there and then cratered basically down to $17. Why was that? We talked about it, the new variant of concern. So we come in today and we're instantly thinking, okay, over the weekend, there was talk that maybe this variant wasn't so bad. We came in with the Dow up 200 to 300 points. We came in with the NASDAQ up 1%. And we also came in today with Carnival Cruise Lines starting to inch upside, right? And so I was like, you know what? This is a thing, this is an opportunity here for us to take this long. And we also did a highlight. We want to try to find a key area here. So we go back to the 20-minute chart. And what I'm noticing is I'm trying to get the day right, on Friday, the half day, we closed $18. So I'm thinking to myself, if we close at $18, we have to trade higher than 18 today, right? There's no way the market is more negative today, because it's not, the Nasdaq's up 2%, than it was on Friday, today being Monday. So with that being said, we think we have this great idea. And what it is to start to get long in the pre-market. That doesn't happen. We don't get any opportunities. We're actually waiting for 1870, something like that. We should have got filled. We didn't. We missed it by a couple pennies. No big deal. But then all of a sudden, 19 breaks. We like the 19 break. And again, there's not much going to be here on any of these charts that show you why 19 was key. But it was a pre-market high right here. So there was some levels there on 19. We take the long and get long in 1904 or something like that on the initial break. And look, it happens right away off the open. So a big, huge buy counts. We're like, yeah, we got it. We're long at 19. And as per usual, there's 4 outs here. Each one of these, I think, is about 10%. So we get out of the majority, not the majority, but the minority, 40 to 50% of our trade upside. As it goes as high as 1930, we actually have a 1921 fill there. No problem. Then, we let it settle down and it comes all the way back in. We're thinking we have a $20, like we're thinking that we're going back up here, man, like back up to 20 bucks. Why not? So obviously this is why not. We get initially, this is a 2-minute chart, so it could all fill in here. But basically you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so 20 straight minutes of nothing but downside here for CCL. So this is what we do. We take the early print, then we take the pre-market bottoms. That doesn't work out. So where do we get out? On this little level, 1870 break. We get out. Why? Just that's the bump up. We don't want to be messed with in here. Then it comes down to 1850 and we're like, okay, we're reloaded. But boom, boom, we get in. And then it's like, okay, no, we're not done selling. Boom, to the downside again. And we get out right there at an 1830 break. Again, the bottom of this pre-market. Okay, what are we going to do next? Well, we still can't believe that we're still fading down. And remember, it's this 18 level, the close on Friday that I can't not trade around that. So as it's coming all the way to the downside, look what happens. We take like an 1815, then we take an 1810, and then we take like an 1802. And guess what? It actually goes up and it goes back into the money for us. Boom, right back up to the upside. We take a little bit more out. And we're like, yes, we've got this. Now it's going upside. But what winds up happening, womp womp, is you break that 18 level and we're gone. The point of this trade of the day is just to show you that, I could be completely wrong with how we're thinking. And there's only one win there, one win there. Other than that, we have a couple mixed losers and we're negative on the day. But you have to get out of the way, because if I'm married to this trade here, 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 and I still hold, well, it goes down to 1770 on the low. We're only now back to 1812. So, I feel like we did good managing this position. You can go broke not managing your losers properly. I feel like we did a good job. It didn't work the way we thought it would. It's Carnival Cruise Lines. It's a trade of the day, and I hope we can learn from our mistakes.
All right, let's continue along here. We'll talk a little bit about what was discussed in the pre-market starting at 8:30, as I mentioned. Make sure you join us every single day. You can pick up our free watch list. That is the link. You can use the QR code. Miss V will help you out in the chat if you do need that as well. And yeah, this week brought to you by Manscaped. The QR code you'll see at the bottom of the screen gives you 20% off as well, just in time for the holidays. So check that out, guys. Go to Manscaped and check that out for the holidays. Lots to discuss this morning. One of the biggest stories that did pop off, I'll shut that off for you. One of the big stories that popped up right in the middle of our pre-market was this Twitter story. Back by popular demand, the marketing guy from Day Trade the World, Justin Kozach, going to swing through about 250 just before 3 o'clock. We'll get his take on what this means for the company. We'll talk a little bit about who is coming in to take over for Jack Dorsey and what this means potentially for Twitter. So stick around for 250. But I mean, guys, Twitter ends up being much to do about nothing, really. Not only did we come all the way back, but we came all the way back and then some, back to negative even for Twitter.
I just sat down taking another sip of my Americano there. I don't even have my mic on, do I?
That tends to be, the thing with Twitter is it tends to be, a lot of the times news, this kind of news, that's what you get, a flash to the upside, and then it's a re-evaluation of what it really means. And then it's like, no, you know what, it's not as great, and then here we are back to the downside. And this is a conversation I had with Sean here earlier. It's not the first time he stepped away from the CEO role. He's how long ago was it? 10 years
I think
ago?
it was
No.
2015 or so.
He came back to the CEO role because in
Yeah,
2008 or 9 he left to be to stay on the chairman as the chairman of the board. So it's not the first time he's done this. So like I don't know why this is such a rally or why it was such a move to the upside and then back. It was just a flash in the pan. And you know what? Markets get excited when there's something comes up, anything really, and then it takes off, comes back, gets reevaluated, and here we are. Pretty much Twitter down 1.5% on the day after this news came out when it was at 47.50. We're trading at 46.39 at the moment. So that goes to show not all news will keep this thing, any stock going forever, right? You always have to juggle the benefits of whether it's a long-term good thing or it's just a temporary volatility event.
Yeah, I mean, we looked at this a few times over again here, and I actually talked about this on the Memes and Movers show, and that hold on a second, 83.60. Just putting in some orders here. Yeah, we talked about this on the Memes and Movers show that we liked, Twitter down here at these levels, and I think that when you get news, obviously we got a big spike. And I was pretty proud of this, man. We brought this to you live on our morning show when we came right across. I think it was like 40 seconds after it hit the newswire. We had this one up, and I was like, "What? It's up 13%." You could rewind, man. And we talked about like, why is this name up so high? Like, why is Jack Dorsey leaving such a good like windfall for the company? And I think we are somewhat right where we talked about the fact that they're trying to monetize, and Twitter's sort of been in a bad little spot here as compared to some of its rivals, right? But at the same time, Twitter's still very, very powerful. Someone said Donald Trump going to be the new CEO. That's pretty funny of Twitter. That would be hilarious. Obviously, that won't be happening. But and then I talked about it on the Memes and Movers show with Trader Pratt and Ms. V. Is that if you just take away that news, so let's just pretend like okay, it didn't happen. Obviously, it did. But you're still back. Like, it just faded back into these levels where right now, Twitter's down 1.23%, a similar number than Snap as well today. And I think we've just faded back into some levels that it was going to trade out regardless of this. So it means to me, Brendan, that this news wasn't really as big maybe as initially thought. Apparently, it was a planned sort of stepping down situation. He's already going to be replaced by another like-minded individual. I believe it was the CTO now replacing Jack Dorsey. So I don't expect any big major changes or anything happening to the company. And I would just continuously defend this area, man, 46. So we'll see if it can come back down, but that's going to be a trade for me here in the afternoon. I only took it one time. We opened back up. We halted there. We talked a little bit about that halt. And then, it was halting for quite a long time. What was this? 9:48 basically until 10, almost an hour of no trading here on Twitter. When it opened up, it tested this bottom 47. We punched along, and then it was just back and forth for a bit for us on TWTR, where we took a 50-cent win and then a 20 or so cent loser. So we're flat on Twitter right now, but I do think that there's a buying opportunity down here at 46.
Yeah, the statement that was released during that halt on his Twitter account, go to @Jack on Twitter. You can read that statement. Very interesting. He was talking about the former CTO, now CEO, takes over today. In fact, he's walking away today. He was talking about how all the important decisions and changes that have been made over the past few years have come from the former CTO, now CEO of the company. So interesting. Again, Justin, the marketing guy, coming up about 2:50. We're going to talk further about this. We'll shift gears though, guys. I want to talk about oil and energy markets here because this market, has kind of given up a little bit anyways of what we saw early on this morning. We had crude up more than 5% at one point. We've obviously come off significantly from that, trying to hold above 70.5 here where it did earlier this morning, but still 3.6%. Ends up being a bit of a non-event here for some of these oil companies today as well.
Yeah, we tried. I mean, we tried with XOM, man, earlier. That could have also been the trade of the day where we learn our lesson on trading some of these. And it's just kind of like, I just want to show you a minute chart here. Oil's still up. I should put this up here. Up to that you can see it. Doesn't matter. I don't know if you can see it. This is on a different platform. Oil's still up 3.6% here today. But, I mean, it was a big drop off the open. You've seen oil rally on over the weekend and on Friday there. I guess it's not open over the weekend, but rallying to, up that 10%. giving some back, or sorry, back down 10%, giving it back. I've seen gas prices drop down. I think that's great for the consumer here in North America. But today it gives it back. So we started up. I think it was, like you just mentioned, there's 7 or 8, 5, 6, 7, 8% or so today, and then we didn't get higher than this 73 mark. So if we didn't get higher than 73 today, I'm really thinking that that may be the temporary top. So I am looking to fade anything that comes up to that side in oil. And then the mistake that we made today, of course, perfect, thank you guys, would be this XOM trade. And we tried it early again, some success, win here, win. But then we punched a ticket long at 63. So this was like a 58 out 91. Nice win for us. But then we punched our ticket longer through 63, thinking that the oil move was going to extend, and it didn't. Back down, out 62 break. Good thing we did that as well, as we go all the way back down to 61.30, and now we're kind of just hovering around this nice little 62.20 area. I believe XOM can go for a run here, but we were again wrong on oil. I thought it could continue to go up, still down that 2%, or down 2% from its highs to 4% right now. I still think oil has a chance to go. Any initial thoughts there, as you have a little bit of a longer term up?
Yeah, I've got the longer term chart. I've just got a multiple days worth of data. And it kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier. There is action around that 73 through 74.50 mark on the crude future contract. So keep an eye on this one here. That's going to be the area of play. To the downside, obviously that 69, 68.50 seems to be something of a support level as well. So for now, anything in between, I think the market can just go up and down, go a little sideways or so, or whatever it wants to do. But until we get to those markers, that 74.50 or that 68, 69 area, I don't think there's a whole lot to do on oil, but quite the move. And this is not surprising. After such a severe move to the downside, a snapback rally is not, it's not that surprising. So it's fading off a little bit as crude goes into the close. So we'll see how this trades throughout the rest of the week, because it will be interesting to see how we close out the month as well.
Let's talk swing trading, shall we? Every trader loves to, think about the concept of maybe capturing 1, 2, 3 day moves. How about 3 week or even 3 month moves? In this video, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the most common swing trading setups that we like to look at over time, obviously, and how we can maybe apply some of those even on an intraday basis and capture those 2 to 3% moves that we get even in the overnight period, going from one day to another. Let's jump right into things here, guys. Let's talk about the best swing trading strategies.
All right, Arun.
Yo.
We love trading and we love swing trades.
Yep.
So I think this is right up our alley. So let's get ready to rock and roll here and talk about swing trades and what we're looking for. I mean, to me, obviously, I think you need a catalyst. And I think one of the very first things that you're looking for is, is there reason for this name to move? Is there a reason for this sector to go? Why are we looking at this? If you're going to look at a stock that really isn't moving, let's pick the oil sector. If there's not much happening there, then why would you take a swing trade on an XOM or a Chevron or something like that? If there's really no EV talk, then stay away from the EV names, right? We've just had a great opportunity in the last little couple months, or pretty much this whole year, to swing trade every single sector. Things are hot right now, and I think there's no better time to look at some of these plays. The only advice that I have is you gotta, if we've determined that, hey, we can almost swing anything right now, there's lots of stuff moving, well, then I'm gonna look for maybe more recent news, because if you look at a chart over the last 3 or 4 months, like Brendan was saying, there's gonna be tons of opportunities, upside and downside on a lot of names. So I'm actually gonna pick Twitter today. We have right now today, news with Jack Dorsey, news. The stock is moving around now. You get news with the new variants. We get some nice movement in the NASDAQ right now, tipping down a little bit. And now Twitter, NASDAQ today up 2%. Monstrous day on Friday to the negative side. But look at this. If you're going to swing trade something, and we've been talking about this, you got to do it near key levels. I mean, you don't just take a random position right here at 47 and change. You look back and you say, hey, is there a bottom here that we can maybe bounce off of that we've had success bouncing before? I mean, the last time we were down to 46, we bounced, got to 47.50. That's not bad for a swing trade. It happens again there. Goes right back to 47.50. Then you get the Jack Dorsey news showing us that there is lots of liquidity in Twitter. So this is a name that I like. So go back a couple days, find some key spots. But again, it's identifying your time frame. So I think this is a good one for short. But then look at this. As we go on this is not a daily chart. As we go here on a daily chart for Twitter, you'll also see the same thing. We could go all the way back to January of this year. So you're going back 10, 11, 12 months and finding the same kind of support at this 44.45. So whether or not you want a small week to 2 week kind of time frame to swing, I think you're at those levels, and we identified that on a 20 period. But if you're saying, you know what, I want to hold something into the new year, I want to buy something that, or even sell something that are at some key levels, I think you got to go back and you find dramatic moves, bouncing off some support. And right now you have that opportunity in Twitter. Going back here, 45, 46 bucks. This gives you a great opportunity for the upside. And then if it breaks, you know, boom, you're down here to 40 again. So there's an opportunity here to kind of play both sides on this swing trade. You're looking for levels with catalysts. And I think we have both of that with Twitter.
Yeah, and something I do on the show when I look at charts, I always do something like this, where I pull up a large time frame relative to, for us, 30-minute time frame, and then I'll zoom it out and see what the landscape looks like, right? So this is what I'm doing on Microsoft. I'm zooming it out, seeing what the levels look like. Now, if I wanted to swing trade, all I have to do is pretty much do the same thing, just change the time frame from 30 minutes to say something like a daily. And let's just, here, I'm pulling out, this is our e-signal chart, by the way, and I'm just pulling this back, and this is our Apple daily chart. What am I seeing? If I want to get a swing trade on, I'm going to do the exact same thing I do on an intraday basis, just with a different time frame. So I'm looking for volume. Where does the market really want to hesitate? Where is it spending a lot of time in volume, or where does it not want to be? Let's take a quick look at Apple. Apple clearly hesitates around this 140 mark. Right? We go back to January of this year, it hesitates around 140. Even September of 2020 hesitates close to 140. So when we get through 140 and we come back down in October, you know around there's going to be some volume, because we've done it before multiple times, that there's going to be hesitation. So as soon as you get your trigger entry, whichever way you decide to get in, I like to identify zones, and then I'll figure out how I want to get in. And for me, once it crossed 145, I think that level is confirmed. I'm going to step into the long, and then you just manage the trade as if you would manage any other trade. And you can do this same logic to multiple stocks. Now, somebody said in the chat, Lucid was a great example. I looked at the Lucid chart. Absolutely, this is a different style of entry. This is like a breakout. We do intraday breakouts here, but look at the daily breakout. Once it crossed 34, you have a ton of support. What used to be previous resistance is now going to act as support, and you can go for the long. You just have to hold it longer. It's not going to be a quick daily trade. It's not going to take you a few minutes or a few hours, but this is going to take a while. But as a swing trade, look at that. You go long 34, as high as 56 and change. Depending on how you manage it, you are capturing a large chunk of that move. So all you have to essentially do, at least not all strategies can be applied this way. Obviously, momentum strategies are different, but these breakout style, resistance, support level entry points, those kind of strategies will work well on the intraday basis and on the swing basis. So that's how I would go for trades on the swing side of things.
Fantastic information. To sum up just quickly, guys, a catalyst, a reason why the stock is moving. We get out to the higher time frame. We find those significant inflection points, which not only gives you entries, but it defines your risk and helps you control the downside. You know where you are wrong and can get out if we do break those levels. Great points, great way to approach swing trading, guys. Let's talk about vaccine stocks, shall we? Because they were on our minds this morning as well. All of them in positive territory for the second straight day, led by this one, Moderna. CEO was on CNBC early on in the pre-market this morning saying, yeah, it could be as much as 2 to 6 weeks before we get more clarity as to the efficacy of some of these vaccines on this new Omicron variant of COVID-19. I mean, putting aside opinions on where this came from or why it came from, we still have great opportunities to trade these names.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly what you just said there. I mean, regardless of what we think, about the virus or Omicron or any of these other variants. You know, there's still the Delta variant out there as well. Moderna continues to be a great name to trade. I mean, if you're looking for action, why not look here? We, like you mentioned, 20 to 25% on Friday, and now kicked in another 11% today, well off its bottoms here of 220, 270. This is just a 20-minute chart just to see the explosiveness that it had here on Friday. Opened up around 300, touched 350, and then dropped in again 330 and change. Now today we open up well above that 350 area. I was really targeting 350. You guys know that today from watching the morning show, and we basically battled this thing like all day, man. We had some great winners early. We let this come break the pre-market bottom of 358. We let it settle down early. We weren't sure where it was going to go, and I'm still not. But we take that 358 out, 354, $4. Let it rip all the way back up. We're reloaded. We reloaded this at 62. Got part out at 60 again for another $2. And then this thing goes $12 in the money. And at this point, this is where we were looking at 350 as a break. I just didn't want to get out because, I mean, I should have. And I was sitting here battling it, talking about it. But I really targeted down here some of these other levels. This is a 2-minute chart. I got to fix this. That's why. So I was really targeting somewhere in here, 344. I thought this little clumped up action, if we did break 350, then we would sort of come to 348, 45, something like that in here. And then we maybe would have got a dip down lower. So we were waiting for that. That never happened. And as you can see, everything purple here is a short. I still can't believe we're up this much. I don't think we need to be up 40% in 2 days on this name, but ball don't lie, and neither does the stock, man. So, you know, we're going to turn our good day into a negative one. You can see all these hits are pretty small. Like on this one, we took a 365 short. It got it out right there at VWAP 361 before hitting it out again once it breaks through the top at 366. So like that right here is like a $4 or $5 winner and then a $2 loser on the top. But you spread them all out. It's going to be a negative day for me on Moderna. I'm going to fix my chart, but I still don't think, I mean, let's just zoom this forward even more to see what we're doing. I still can't believe we're up here. So I think we got to wait for the high to come through again, Arun, maybe. Yeah. Maybe you have some different ideas, but 372, 73, like in here. Let's be more patient because right now it's just stair-stepping up, and I have a negative view towards this stock. I just think it's too far, too fast. That's me on Moderna.
The way Moderna is trading, I would just, kind of wait it out. Today's not the day for position trading on Moderna. It's all over the place. The way it's moving around, I'd be careful, especially with us now, an hour and a half left in the day. There's no rush for us to trade Moderna, at least for today. I've got a couple positions on Lucid. I've got just north of 54. I noticed that once we cleared 53.50, we were holding well. We cleared 53.50 and then we held above 54 as well. So I'm like, you know what, there's a decent long here. I'm gonna only risk up $1, so below 53 even. That should help us support the 54 and the 53.50, which was previous resistance. So we should get some buy support from those points. So that's what I'm looking for. Risk $1, see if we can't get above 55. That's a 1-to-1 risk there. And then AMD has been working this 160 pretty much all morning. And then finally tried it around 1 p.m., backed off to 159 and finally got above. So I decided to go in long just above 160 there. Risk on this was about $1.50, not a whole lot, pretty much right below this point where it bounced off of. Seems like the majority of volume is somewhere between 59 and 58.5, so I'll sit below 58.5. Risk on this is $1.50, like I mentioned. Upside target, there is none. I just want to see how far it wants to go before I decide to get out. So just those two trades that I've got, and one I was trying to get my hands on. Oh man, I really was trying to get my hands on this one. Roblox, RBLX.
I just called it up. I didn't even
just above 127. This bid has been there for over 20 minutes now, trying to get this fill. It got close. It got really close. I think they put in a 127.17 low. Not close enough to get me fill though. But I was waiting there. I'm feeling like the smart decision here is to leave the order, because it can still back off this 129 and the trade would still be valid. So I'm going to leave the order there in front of 127 and see if I can grab a fill. The risk on this, again, it's a small risk. The risk on this is going to be just over $1 or so below this 126. Why? Because the majority of the volume is sitting between 126 and 127. So if I'm going to get the support for the long, it's going to have to be in that price point. There's no point in risking more than that, because odds are if it breaks through 126, I've lost any support that I could have had through that area. So I'm just going to back away from that point if we get underneath 126. So I'll just leave it be. Those are the 3 trades I'm working with. That's it. We're just going to wait for the futures maybe to do something. Brendan?
Just quickly back on the COVID angle, there was a bunch of these little ones that popped up this morning on testing headlines. So this Applied DNA, there's CEMI, there's also Co-Diagnostics, which is CODX. They were all higher in the pre-market on basically headlines suggesting their current test kits are and will be still viable for this Omicron variant. They all kind of look like this, back to the downside. I mean, this is still up 10%, but it's given pretty much everything back. Wanted to discuss not necessarily Walmart, but anyone who's in the camp right now, as I am, of sitting waiting for a shipment to arrive. I know, Arun, you're waiting for a new cell phone to come through. Walmart CEO just coming out saying that port and transit delays apparently are improving right across the U.S., so hopefully they'll get some of this supply chain nonsense cleared up, because it's getting a little out of hand. So I don't think there's any reaction from Walmart stock on that, but definitely some good news for the holiday season. Anyways, anyone shopping online during Cyber Monday. Here we go. Arun, you mentioned AMD there. I wanted to touch on the Tesla angle here. We learned on Friday, Electrek was talking about Tesla using AMD's chips for this new performance Model Y vehicle that's going to be sold in China. So AMD impressive. Tesla also having a pretty good day.
Yes, Arun is definitely waiting on his new phone because BlackBerry, I've got a month left on this puppy right here. So that update for anyone who cares, most of you don't, but I'll still put it out there. I'm still waiting. 2 more weeks apparently is what Google said. So hopefully that's not a logistics issue and just a pure demand issue, because if it's a logistics issue, I can see them pushing this. That would be a problem for me because I'm on a timer, because my phone will not work after January the 4th. So we're going to wait and see if we can get that Google phone, that Pixel, before the end of the year as set. Sean?
Yeah, I just want to show this attention. Shout out to Ms. V. If you can look at the camera here. This is my daughter. She just went for her routine eye checkup, which you have to have apparently, I don't know, every year when you're under a certain age. Okay. And look what she has in her hand here. We could zoom in, maybe, whoops. We can zoom in a little bit more. There it is. There's the Starbucks. So there it is. Shout out to my daughter there. Needs some new teeth as well. But there it is right there, the Starbucks, Ms. V. So we're starting her young right there. So shout out to my wife and my daughter. And apparently everything went well. So no spectacles for her yet. As my wife and I both don't wear glasses, but I did have laser eye surgery, which was an absolutely fantastic investment for myself, considering looking at these screens all the time. Yeah, no surprise here on Roblox. I know we started, thank you guys, yeah, you have no idea. And I started, that's the same one. And if you didn't see me earlier here, well, I only have one daughter, but this is what we were talking about earlier on this one here, as we had our little snow date. Well, anyways, I spend hours with her at the park every weekend, and here we were yesterday. We built this slide, and there we go. Nice little roll around there, and that was just me, again, acting like I'm in the Antarctic, and I think it was -2. So there it is. Shout out to, that's actually a new jacket, so shout out to that. Okay, so yes, thank you for all those comments. And I'm just trying to keep it a little bit light here in the afternoon. We will talk obviously about trading. Someone said, Sean, what about MTTR? So Matterport, I think it was you, Day Trading Mom. Shout out to Day Trading Mom. We love all the day trading moms out there. Thank you for supporting the show and watching us day trade, and hopefully, you know, you're having a successful one as well. MTTR today up 20%. Of course, Matterport Inc. Wow, what a big mover today. I have to go back to Brendan for the news on this one to see what we're doing, but we're already up and away, man. There's really going to be no levels here as we look at a day chart here. So obviously this just IPO'd, it seems like at 14 or 15. You've got a double up right now in a matter of months. You don't see this happen too much. I guess like half a year. You don't see this happen much in the market. So depending on what the news is right now, obviously the volume has been very, very elevated today. We've had some nice elevations recently on volume as well, including some spikes. Those are going to be open and close trades. But the volume's held out today. So For me, I mean, I think a 32 break would be a little bit of a problem. So you're getting closer there now. You do see some big size, about 40,000 shares on the bid right there. So not a huge number, but every one of these is by 100. So that's one share, 100 shares, 200 shares, so on and so forth. So you got some decent size there. As we look at the daily chart, let me put it back to our chat as we go. And you look at a daily chart, I think this is going to be a big level day trading, Mom, 3160 or so to come through. Obviously, if we break through 31, that's going to be a problem. You see where the volume comes in here? If we can maybe maximum screen that there, Miss Maggie. Thank you. So you see the volume spiking right here on a 32 break, and then the volume spiking right here basically on a 30 break as well. So 2 level breaks, big volume. So yeah, watch out if it does break that 32 level. Again, big volume spike right here into 32. That's why we're saying if 32, well, that's why I'm saying if 32 breaks, I look for some more downside there, because if this volume doesn't come to protect it like they did here, boom, 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 all the way to the upside, then we'll look for a fail. It already failed here at 33, didn't hold it, came back through, cut it like butter there. Look at this. Like it didn't even look at 33, it just sliced it. So I'd watch out for MTRR if and when, Brendan, if you have something on this one, we could talk more about it. But MTTR right now, those are my levels, and I hope that that went over well with you guys. Back over to Mr. Wickens.
Yeah, it's all-time highs too. I was just noticing on this thing above about 3080, 3090 is all-time highs for Matterport. There was a couple of positive notes out on this entire group. Software name. Obviously, there's Wedbush. There's also Credit Suisse out with a positive note on this entire group this morning. Maybe just an all-time high kind of breakout type idea as well for MTTR. Pretty impressive. Speaking of the holiday season, we saw these on the upgrades and downgrades board this morning. If you joined us pre-market, UPS and FedEx. I mean, it's been a bit of a bounce back for FedEx today. We're up 1% now. It did go all the way back to basically negative and then reversed after a bit of a tumble on Friday, but decent volume, the relative volume higher than usual on both FedEx and UPS today, guys.
Yeah, I see you guys in the chat. NVAX going absolutely nuts. Yeah, I flipped over here as soon as the chat started talking about it. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know if, Brendan, if you can find something on what's going on here, but I'm just basing off what I'm seeing in the movement here. I think there might be, I was thinking there might be a long, but not yet. It is just falling apart. Okay, 192, okay. I'm open to the idea of taking a long at some point, but maybe not yet. This thing fell from 210 to 193. What's the halt on this? This would be 10% would be 20 bucks from, we should be nearing halt conditions soon if this thing keeps going. Okay.
What I was just ignoring, I just saw that my wife is in the chat there, but was there news? Did Brendan just drop that news? Because, yeah, what's up, Prad, to my wife? Wait a minute, he's saying hi to her? Okay, hold on a second. Okay, down to Mr. Steal Your Girl over there. I gotta protect this. Just playing around Pradley. Actually, Prad and my wife... Hello. Yeah. Everything cracking right now. Yeah. Maybe there's some news. Oh, here goes. New York governor says no reported Omicron variant in New York. So maybe that mRNA now starting to chat it up. Woo, now you do that, Moderna. Yeah, you can go to hell, Moderna. This is what we thought in the first place, man. I mean, remember we talked about this on the trade of the day, and we said that, hey, first of all, if my family's watching, what's up? The second thing is that we started with early on in the day that we were expecting this fall. This is why we were short Moderna. I didn't think this variant was, and again, this is not I'm not, obviously not making any.
It's about to halt.
Medical,
oh, there it goes.
There it goes right now. Yeah. Medical opinions are anything here, but looks like Moderna right now falling back down. Let's see if we get a nice bid at 350. If that takes that out, then we're laughing. I'm going to try to short this thing back in there. You were looking at NVAX?
NVAX halted at 187. Brendan?
Yeah, there's nothing, just to confirm, guys, there's nothing company specific on this. So if it's just New York State that can move stocks like that, then great. That looks like it might be it.
Well, that was
hell
fun,
yeah.
Apparently. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. Keep an eye on how NVAX opens back up because that was quite an aggressive move. Obviously, then you look at the sympathy play. If it's stock specific or if it's sector specific, obviously, I'm going to lean towards it is sector, but at the same time, why is NVAX taking such a bigger hit than Moderna if it was that big to the sector? So NVAX may have lost something, whether it's something to do with their trial. What do you have?
No, I was just going to say, I think NVAX is because they're not as heavily traded, and they have the technology for the variant. So I think that a lot of people were thinking that NVAX maybe could produce a faster booster or something like that in that respect. But again, it just says right now NVAX paused due to volatility. So we'll see what happens right now. I'm looking to go short Moderna, but again, I don't know. It's like, concrete jungles where dreams are made of, New York. You know what I'm saying? So we're dropping some new lines in here, but the thing is like, does that mean that New York is the gateway for this? Like I don't really understand why. And again, Brendan came with the news. I just saw right there that there's no reported cases in New York. I mean, if there's not one reported today, I'm guaranteeing you there'd be one reported tomorrow, man. I mean, if this virus is here, we actually got a couple of variants. I think there was 2 people in Ottawa as well in Canada.
That was travel, though. That was travel-based, right?
Oh, yeah, they're all travel-based. They're all literally coming from South Africa.
Southern Africa, I think is.
So, yeah, whether or not it be South Africa or Southern African states or countries, obviously, as that goes. So I believe there's also some cases in Nigeria, but at the same time, they are starting to ban travel. So if that gets lifted, then maybe some of these other travel companies can get back going, like your UAL, like your CCL and whatnot. But there's Moderna. Let's just check in on Pfizer. Did Pfizer go southbound? I'm going to say not as much, but it did go. So you're down 1.6% coming off of all-time highs. And I started this day by saying, man, a lot of these went too far too fast. You could see here with Pfizer, basically the same thing. It ripped all the way to all-time highs. $56 today. Give me a break. Coming back in now. I don't know how much money's made from boosters. I mean, I'm assuming millions and billions. But, I mean, these companies got to figure something else out as well. I do like Moderna, but I cannot believe how fast this thing shot back up from its 220 just because there was another variant. So you could see this was a monster shot right back upside here. So I still think Moderna is going to be a short. It just might not be today. Let's just hope that science always wins.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can do, right? Get more information and wait for more information. And the markets will digest the information as they come, and as we should as well, instead of jumping to conclusions on everything that is being posted. Because obviously knee-jerk reactions are a thing, and markets are the top ones to react to something like this. So we'll keep an eye on NVAX and the vaccine names. The market as a whole, let's take a quick look at the futures, because the futures didn't nosedive. Because you would think that if something like this were to affect the way things are going to be going forward, whether it's restrictions or whatnot, you would expect the futures to react the same way. They did not. So that's why the stocks individually are going, but the market as a whole is holding up well. We bounced strong off this low here around 25 in the afternoon, which held well in the pre-market as well. And here we are all the way to 70. Keep in mind, this is a zone that I'm still looking to fade. All the way up to 85, I'm looking to fade. I just need to find a location to do it. Until then, respect the fact that this is going to the upside. So we'll leave it alone, no fades. At some point, there might be a trade. If not, if this were to keep on going, chugging along towards that 85 and end up breaking it, it's clear the momentum is to the buy side. The bias is to the buy side. There's enough buy strength to keep this thing going. So we're just going to respect that and wait to see how this market digests more news. We've got just under an hour and a half before we close out the day. I'm very curious to see how NVAX opens up because we closed at 188.03 is the halt price. And right now the auction open is looking to be 187.80-ish, somewhere in there. So it's entirely possible that we actually just halted just to reopen. So reopen not that far away. And we should be opening in about 10 seconds, I think. We should be opening soon. Right around pretty much where we closed. So we'll see how this goes.
All right, we have one more trade, just a new trade alert, so we'll hit the siren for this one. We're into Fisker right now, and we've been loving Fisker for a very, very long time. Right here, you see it starting to take some stuff out here at day's high again. I would love for it to pull back into the 80s, into the low 80s. We're waiting there right now, but our position is just long off the bid. That's all. We took a bid 90. Here we go. We took a bid 89 there. We'll see if we can get out on the upside. Breaking through 22 would be pretty sweet for Fisker. We've already been up here before. We talked about trying to get some out at 24. We're not going to make the mistake again. If that does happen, man, we will punch our ticket out at $24. But right now, Fisker starting to make a move, man. I'm sitting here on the offer. We'll see if we can't make a smooth dime right now. I mean, I'm at 99. It just went to 98. Hopefully we can get that print at 99, and we'll see about that. And then check out Moderna, man. I guess NVAX must have opened back up to some nice movements, probably right back to the upside. And I said that, man, regardless of what Jay-Z or anybody thinks about New York, It's not the be-all, end-all. And look at this, starting to go back upside right now. So there goes Moderna right back to 364, 365 and going. So there it is. I don't know, do you have NVAX up?
I have NVAX right at the opening price, which is 188.07 is where it opened. I'm sitting on a $11 winner. I've already got half out in front of 195. I'm just going to let this go. You can see the way it was trading down there. Something was going wrong. Something was happening, especially with the volume. And once if you can use that on open order, which is what we have, the market on open order, and you can see the flow, man, you got to jump on because it's easy money at that point. You just take your money and you can walk away. Now I can trail this thing. Yeah, so when something goes too far, guys, just keep an eye out. You have different order types to work with, and you just got to trail this because now this thing's what, 12 bucks in the money, and I have no reason to even get out because I'm looking to see how far this wants to go on the snapback. After we halt to the downside. So just be aware that this thing is running hard after it opened back up. Moderna is doing the same thing. After NVAX opened, Moderna just went from 360 to 364. So there are trades to be made. You just got to keep an eye out for these opportunities that come through.
Yeah, buddy, stick long on that one. Let's hit the cowbell there. I don't have an Arun cowbell or we'd hit it. There it is. Shout out to you, Arun, for that trade. And also, man, we did pretty good ourselves there. It's not going to be a $10 winner or 20 or whatever you have on NVAX right there, but we did take that Fisker right there, 21.88, and got them all out at 22 as it broke higher. We made a mistake, though. We meant to hold a little bit, so now we're long again on a 22 break of Fisker, but 1 for 1 on Fisker, still starting to go to the upside. So far, so good here. We're having some fun. We're about to have some more. What's up, Brendo?
This is very unconfirmed, so take it for what it's worth. I've seen a couple of people talking about the FDA possibly delaying the NVAX review. So that is still to come. Remember, NVAX currently does not have any kind of EUA for a vaccine, so just be aware the FDA, this is again just a rumor, the FDA possibly delaying the NVAX review.
There we go. Rumor schmoomer there. As it goes. And NVAX, that's part of the problem with NVAX, man. There's always something with them. Like I was saying, they're always looking for that approval. Mm-hmm. They're always looking for more and more. So great trade there, Arun. Obviously, you've hit that out of the park with your NVAX. Before, I know we're getting ready to go with Justin, the marketing guy, or however we're talking about him over there. I see he's not wearing plaid today, but he's looking handsome as ever there. But do you have a target out for your NVAX? You may already be out, but is there a target?
No, I got half out in front of 195, and I'm holding the rest. I'm just going to manage this because I'm very curious to see how far it wants to go. Trail stop is probably going to be somewhere below 198, but it's so thin that I got to let it slip a little bit. So I'll keep an eye on this. If I need to cross hard, I'll cross hard to get out. But we'll leave this alone and see how it trades through this 200. It is hesitating, which could mean that this could just snap right back down, but we'll leave it alone and see how it trades. Interestingly enough, though, as soon as this opened back up, everything that was out of the money for me, my AMD and Lucid, shot back in the money. So it seems like the entire market was held for ransom by NVAX being halted. And right. And then here it's back on now, and now everything's shot back in the money. We're just going to leave it be. No targets. I'm going to let them trade out, and we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, just looking at Moderna here, I'm debating. I mean, we've been thinking short this whole time. We just got an awesome opportunity. It came right into this area, 368, 369. This is an awesome opportunity maybe for a short if you like it. Here as we come all the way back up on mRNA, just straight fire to the upside. You kind of got through this here. I mean, I think if we get back up to 367, this is a decent short off the high of the day, 369. So that's what I'm going to be looking for right now. Might do a starter position here as I believe, that's good sign there coming from New York. I don't think, obviously this move down was very, very dramatic. We should have been buying some of these bottoms. We've seen 352 happen before. So I think this is well worth it. If we can get a trade into here, 367 and change, 366.50, something like that as a nice little short. I think we're going to step back into Moderna and see if we can do some damage here on the short side of that one. As it looks like right now, it is fading back again here. Maybe there's not a chance it holds this 364. Let's try 364 short, and we'll just give it back to this high 367.
All right.
Yeah, there's not much to talk about other than that right now.
Well, I'm looking at the chat because apart from what I've got, these trades are just going to have to be let to do their own thing, right? I'm not going to step in. I guess I can talk about like the way I manage my positions, which doesn't work for everybody because I let them move around, or what I call let my stocks breathe once I get into positions. I don't try to manage them too tight, because there has to be a window where you need to let them move around. Otherwise, you're just stopping yourself from catching the move that you want or you think you see. So just be aware that anytime you take a shot, let the stock move around. Don't jump on protecting your profits immediately. Of course, you want to protect profit, but you do want to let a stock breathe a little bit so you can capture a bigger move. Be smart about how you're managing. There's always three parts to a system, at least to my system anyways. There's the entry, the exit, or your target, and your management. The management will be what dictates how much money you make off a trade. You can be so great at entries, but be very poor at management that you're not ever gonna capitalize everything that you could have potentially caught on a move, right? So just be aware that there's different parts and you constantly have to work on it and improve your system. And you see different things, make adjustments along the way. Trading's just constant adjustments constantly. You never really stop making changes. You're constantly making changes, and that's just how trading is. It's always work.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great call there. You have to manage your ins and your outs. And I mean, with that being said right now, I'm short 366 again. Look, I mean, I could take $2. This is what I've been bad at every single one. If you notice, every single one of these shorts, we're down. Like every single one of these trades printed, and I didn't take the profit. So right now we're going to sit at VWAP and see if we could take this out around 362. Otherwise, man, we're doing exactly what you said. We're going to let this thing breathe a little bit up to 370 or so on this one. So we get stopped out, man. We're going to lose $3 or so on this trade, but we are trying to make the same amount back on the downside. Let's try to give this one some room to breathe. But I'm excited for our next guest as well. So let's throw it back over to Brendan and let's start talking about some Twitter, I believe.
Indeed, there it is. Yeah, at Jack, dropping bombs this morning on his own platform about his own departure from his own platform. Our good friend Justin Kozach joining us, the marketing guy from Daytrade the World, to get his take on what this means overall, I guess, from a company standpoint, from a going forward standpoint, from a this was very unexpected standpoint. Justin,
Right.
What does this mean overall?
I mean, it's interesting. Twitter was pretty much all at Twitter this morning when the news broke around 10:30. I think this is kind of one of those departures that's been a long time coming. I mean, he's been with the company, in some capacity in an executive function for about 16 years now. Co-founder, a CEO, and then not CEO, and then co-founder, and then CEO again. So he's kind of been all over the map. But I think what's really interesting is what is the future of Twitter now? I mean, they've built this platform with many hundreds of millions, even probably close over 1 billion users now at this point. His tenure as CEO I think has also been really interesting in that he's faced a lot of criticism, some of it very fair and some of it a little bit unfair. The biggest issue I think from Twitter from a product development is that it's just, when you look at other networks like Instagram, Facebook, or some of the emerging ones, product development has kind of been left to the wayside a little bit. They haven't really done much with the platform. They've released features like Spaces to compete with Clubhouse. They started to monetize the product, but I mean, Twitter's been around in some capacity or another for, nearly 20 years now, and now they're only starting to monetize it from a user perspective. Let's hope that the sea change, or that this change in leadership now will signal a sea change, certainly in product development.
It's been very publicized, obviously, about the lack of monetization and the lack of things to even get them going in that direction. So I want to kind of explore the idea of the simple fact that the board came out after the fact that this news broke this morning and said they had been working on this since last year. So I mean, this has been very well kept, obviously, and not released earlier than it should have. But if that is the case, then you have to think that there was already a structure in place, already protocols in place, and just day in and day out operations in place that didn't include him.
Certainly, I mean, the search for a new CEO in any company takes a dog's year to do, and certainly, I think that you're right in terms of how long it took for them to make this transition from Jack Dorsey to this new individual who's now in charge. That's never an easy process. But you have to wonder too, how much of this was because of a lot of the activist investor kind of displeasure with Mr. Dorsey and his performance as CEO. Certainly, the splitting the time as as a fractional CEO between Twitter and Square certainly didn't sit well with investors, as well as that little scandal that they had where he wanted to take that 6-month trip to Africa in the middle of what was a stagnant period at Twitter, which kind of raised a lot of eyebrows, certainly internally and also externally with activist investors in the public who thought, well, that's a little weird. So
definitely. I want to point out a couple of things here. He in this statement, guys, if you have a chance, it's worth a read. Pretty interesting read. In this paragraph, the third one down here, he talks a little bit about the former CTO, now CEO of the company, saying that every significant decision that's been made and every change that's been made to the platform, to the company in the past year or two has come from this former CTO, now CEO of the company. So there's already been, I guess, that trust in place, as far as operational changes have been made. And he even goes on to say at the bottom, talking about, why not stay on as chairman of the board? And it simply says that he wants to give him the space and the room to actually do what he needs to do.
For sure. I mean, the transition, from going from CTO to CEO is not a big transition in that you're only changing one letter, but you're now you're responsible for the entire operation of the company. So, his involvement in things like machine learning and AI and a lot of the features that we see on Twitter, on a daily basis are, his work or the work of the department that he runs or the business unit. But, now he's very much going to be the public face of this company. So it's going to be interesting to see how he handles a lot of the challenges that certainly are being thrown at him now and that, that are going to be thrown at him over the course of his tenure as CEO. So let's hope that this is a positive change. I think it will be. He seems like a very intelligent person, and it's great to see another person of color take the helm at another company, at a big tech company, and following in the steps of Satya Nadella.
100%. Real quick, just to wrap things up here, we got to at least address the Square side of this conversation because one of the criticisms that Jack Dorsey has had is that maybe his foot was already kind of half out the door and, trying to do two things at once. Thoughts on Square here?
Listen, I mean, who knows where Jack's going to go next? Obviously, he has an interest in cryptocurrency. His bio just basically says Bitcoin, and I think it's said that for some time now. He doesn't really need to tell people he was the CEO of Twitter. I think everybody kind of knows that. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets involved in cryptocurrency. I'd like to see where Square goes. You don't really hear too much about them, for better or for worse. I don't know what that means exactly, but maybe we'll see some growth in the consumer and corporate payment side of things. So
and nothing said obviously this morning when it comes to his role with Square, and we have to assume that obviously that's not going to change. Justin Kozach, the marketing guy from Day Trade the World, always a pleasure. Great information. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Brendan.
Good conversation, guys, but also some ideas possibly going forward for Twitter.
Yeah, great talk there. And we know that there's been some, disrespect or disregard of Jack Dorsey and some of his opinions and stuff like that. Good bringing up his trip there to Africa. But again, when you're sort of wielding around that kind of money and power, it is nice to see someone else step in there. I don't know what that's going to mean for Twitter, but again, I'm a shareholder. I've trimmed that position, just hasn't been reacting very well, period, to a lot of movements in the space. So, I think Twitter needs a lot of work done. So there's that. You've seen Facebook switch over to Meta now to try to protect, maybe get away from the social media side of things a little bit right there. But I'm short Moderna and you're long NVAX. And as my position continues to lose, I see that your position continues to be in the money. So nice trade on that one. And I know we're looking at very similar levels here, high a days, things like that. So I'm going to continue to let this Moderna settle down and hopefully we can get, some decent movements right there, guys. And people want more, Justin, they want. But that's going to be good moving forward. Hopefully we can have him back on here to talk a little bit, about that side of things. And hopefully you and I will handle the stock. And all I have to say to you, Justin, is go Leafs go. So they've now... Okay, here we go. We can't get involved now, my man. But the Leafs are on a 13-2 run right now, I believe.
Oh, wow.
If not 14-2 maybe, as it's going. Be quiet, Brad.
How dare you? No, stop talking.
I think he just said they're going to lose to Team Brampton or something over there. I don't know. Neil and Prad going to be on that team right now, and I think the Maple Leafs may have a good opportunity to beat those guys. So, anyways, no, we love Leaf Nation. And hey, if anyone else is a sports fan out there, go whatever team you're cheering for, because realistically, that's what it's about. Like I posted one time, the Leafs won in overtime. I think it was against Tampa, and then people were like, "Oh, the Leafs suck," and this and that. I was just like, "Yeah, I'm just happy for the Maple Leafs," and I do agree, man. It's all about the playoffs for us. So we'll wait to see what happens there. So there is some talking about Unity. Look, I love Unity software. I think this is another one of those plays like Roblox where, I mean, I'm surprised Roblox is up today. I'm not surprised they're up. Well, I am a little bit based on the variant and stuff. But I'm more surprised that Unity is down while Roblox is up. So I don't know if something's come out here. I mean, I did see this, and I'm going to shout out to Brendan because maybe something came out on Unity that I missed. There was a huge volume spike at about 1 p.m. When it took out. At that time was the day low. So it could have just been a 175 break and absolutely nothing else. But if that 175 break gave everybody a 165 bottom, then that seems to be a little surprising to me. Remember, this is a relatively new name, Unity Software. I believe that this is the future as far as coding, developing of new games and things like that. Unity, I like what they're doing, but again, it's you know, just like Teladoc. You see Teladoc down 5 or 6% today, right? There's a lot of these innovation names that are new companies that are sort of changing the old thinking, the old ways. And Unity, again, supposed to be easier, different style of gaming, and just allow people to code different things into current versions of games. So we'll wait to see what Unity brings, but I like them at these levels. I've said that over and over again. I would like it a little bit better down here at the 50 period moving average, which would give us 150. But again, like it sort of, you know, broke this level of 175, which is giving me a little bit of concern. But if you just start the day off here today, we are above that 175 area. So I think Unity on this dip is a great long. I'm not sure if you'll see 165 again. I mean, the NASDAQ's up 2%. This is down. If you wanted to sort of go counter trend, like if you're like me and you're long, hella long, Apple, Softy, Facebook, a lot of the other big names, you may want to do what Kathy Wood was talking about, and that is that go long some of these innovative names so that, you know, if some of these bigger guys fail, hopefully you'll get some catch-up trading with a UiPath, with a Unity, even with a Palantir, a Snowflake, something like that. I know that now they're different. We're out of the metaverse now, but some of these newer names like a Roku even. Like what's Roku doing today? Like talk about a name that continuously gets beat down, 233. This one probably was off of a nice run. And again, I wasn't here on Friday, but probably, I got to look at a 20-minute chart. Probably a nice run from Friday there. So we close on Thursday, I guess, at about 231. We open up, we didn't open up that high, 238 or so, tested those bottoms, and now it looks like we're right back into them again as we test 225 here. Roku, just one of those other beatdown names.
Yeah, so in the chat I was asking update on NVAX for anyone who isn't looking at the chart. NVAX, almost at 210 now. I've dumped half, I've still got half down from 188 off the open. From the halt. So before we went to Justin, there was a question about, well, how much space do you give a stock? And I just want to kind of address that because there's no single answer to that. It all depends on what the chart looks like and what your risk profile is. If you need to give it space, you give whatever space is necessary so that whatever levels that are going to support your trade, if it's previous resistance that is now acting as support, any of that, as long as all those levels can be used for your trade to support the move, then you just let it be. As an example, what am I doing? AMD, if I go long on AMD at 160, which is what I did, where's the space that I need to give it? Well, below any previous selling, which is all through here. So I gave it $1.50 because that is what is necessary. Sometimes though, that read might be too much, too expensive. So you don't take the trade then.
Oh my God.
It's just one of those things. You either take the trade or you don't, and you adjust it based on your risk. If the risk is too high, move on to something else. You don't need to take everything. You don't need to catch everything. It's just a matter of take the ones that fit the profile, whether it's your risk profile, your strategy, all those things need to line up. And then when that happens, you just take your shot. And that way you can build up your confidence to take more shares, more size. And then over time, hey, that just means more money, right? So a couple updates there. That's NVAX. That's sitting on a $21 winner at the moment. AMD, off that 160. We've been waiting on this one for a while as well. That's moved up to 66 cents. And then Lucid is taking a sweet time, but it is slowly getting away from this 54. Hopefully we get to that 55. That's the target anyways before I start moving my stops. That's the other thing, right? When you decide to move your stops, well, there needs to be certain levels that need to be crossed where it makes sense to move your stop, because then you can be like, oh, this trade was set up a certain way, was supposed to go, and then it finally went. Now I can move my stop. If it never goes, then you should not move your stop until it's ready to be moved. Remember, the stop only moves when you're trying to lock in profit, not because you're getting bored of the trade or you want to walk away. You think it's up 10 cents, or you're like, okay, now I can break even. No, just move the stop when it's the right time to do so. And I feel like that's a mistake a lot of new traders make, is that as soon as they're in the money, they move the stop to break even just because mentally it's easier, but the trade may take longer than that. It may fluctuate back and forth quite a bit. So just be smart about when you're moving your stops, because that makes a big difference on whether you're in the trade as it's going or you're going to be left behind because you wanted to protect your small gain and you just get chopped out before the actual move happens.
Yes, sir. Arun is in the building, laying down some cash right there for you guys. I mean, how valuable is some of that information right here? I'm going to talk about what I did the same way, and that is to try to share some information with you guys as well. AMD today, start out, man. Watch 162, all-time high. Easy to see this run. Breaks on Tesla news, everything. We love AMD. We love you. We love you. We love you so much that we don't even hold it. And then, I mean, again, this is part of it. And we talked about trying to expand your horizons here. We go long early, 157.50. Then we just beat down the longs again, man. 158 out, 159 out, 160 out, all the way up, upside. But then we break, and then we take one last shot there at 157.50. We talked about that right back into here as the market was crashing down. Once we take out 157, we get out. So all of these wins, man. AMD still, actually AMD my number one stock on the day. So all this, we hit it, and we hit it pretty good, man. But you can see right now, upside 161 now for AMD. I wish we obviously looking back, which is very, very dangerous to do. You should never really look back, but unless you're back testing. But when I'm looking at this, I just noticed that, hey, that 157 breaks, I get out of that every single time. So I just wish we would have noticed some of these bottom wicks, because that's a great reversal pattern for me right there. Once you make new day lows followed by these wicks, that's a huge upside pattern for me. Just upset that I missed that. What's up, Brando?
Just realized my daily chart's not loading, but you get the idea. It's not New York, it's NASDAQ. Novavax, guys, while we were talking to Justin there, they did come out and say that their filing guidance hadn't changed. So they're filing with the FDA. Their guidance hadn't changed on their vaccine. So might be helping with the pop back to the upside. Lululemon filing a patent suit against Peloton. Apparently, we knew about that back on Friday as well, guys.
All right, so that was pretty much something what happened, and the company said, nope, that's not true, or nothing's really changed fundamentally. So
yeah, you know, the funny thing is you have that $20 winner, which is amazing. So we'll spend the money for you. We will get Ms. V back on, see if she's trading Tesla or anything to talk about there, and we need to do a little call for likes. So there has been a call for more Ms. V, so we'll get her on in a second. But it's just funny because you're trading a $200 name that has that 10%, like
yeah.
$20, it's moving 10%. We're trading a $370 name here, and we can't get this thing to move at all, really. We're battling this back and forth here, sitting in a dollar winner, a dollar loser, back and forth here. It does go as much in the money for us. We're short 366. It went all the way down to 362.80, so it did go $3 in the money. We didn't take it. So we're going more than 1-to-1 here, risk reward. Hopefully this can crash back down here, and then we'll see where we can go. But for right now, Moderna, I'm still trying to get out right around here. If we can get out at VWAP, we'll take that because our out is this high, 370 breaking. So if that does break, then it's see you later for mRNA for me. But as I said, right now we're just bouncing. Another trade that we have on right now is Fisker. We've already taken 10 cents. Would have liked to still be long here, 88, 89. But for now, still pretty happy with what we're doing. Upside now, $22 here. We are punched our ticket long on that one. Pfizer starting to come back in a bit. We just talked about AMD. It's amazing what Apple's doing. Any guesses out there, guys? So before I put this up, I want to ask you guys to guess. You don't have to put in the chat. Just mentally try to say this in your head, and you may not know because I do this all the time to myself. Like what price, and I don't expect you to know because I don't think you've looked at this too much, Arun, but what price do you think Robinhood is at? So I'm asking you guys that to think about that because I'm very, very surprised. Well, I'm about to call up Robinhood here, and I think you've got long enough now to think about it. I cannot believe the price that Robinhood is at, and it's a whopping has a 26 handle on it right now. So I don't know how far Robinhood got down there on Friday, so on and so forth. But Robinhood right now continues to puke. You're down 2+% on Robinhood today, down 3.5%. The bottom of the day was 25. Like what even happened there? So this is low, man. Even there on Friday, we only got as low as 27.30. We got as low in the pre-market as 27. This is just, and I asked that question kind of rhetorically, like I knew that they were getting hit, but honestly, man, I had no idea exactly how bad this name has been performing. Robinhood right now still making lows, and we just bounced off that low. So that's something that just targeted me for Robinhood. But wow, that's a lot lower than I thought here. Robinhood getting taken out right now and just shot in the back. But we are looking for maybe a 27.20 or so break. It's been strong here in the last couple minutes.
Yeah, just an update. I've dumped my NVAX position. It's starting to rotate. I'm starting to see volume come in on the sell side. Want no part of this anymore. So I just dumped it as it got below 207, crossed down, took some out. Here we are trading at 206 and change. 207, 206 would be like 18 bucks and change. $18.50 is I think what I locked in on the second half of the NVAX. First one was about $8 or so. AMD absolutely taking off through 161. Finally, we took forever to get going on AMD above that 160, and now here we are, $1.21 in the money on AMD as it's clearing that 161. Hey, there's nothing stopping us from going. So at this point, there's no targets whatsoever. So we're going to leave this be and let it go. Lucid, on the other hand, still taking its time. There's nothing else for me to do with Lucid except for waiting, right? So we're just going to let it be and wait. Futures, let's take a quick look at the futures. What are you doing? Refusing to get below 60, 46.60. This might be an interesting area to keep an eye on if we were to get above 70, right? So that provides some form of support. So we'll keep an eye on these levels as we go into the final 45 minutes of the day. Where are we going, to Brendan or Valerie?
It's Miss V's world, and we're all living in it. What's up?
Right.
Oh wow, Miss V World. Thank you, Sean. And hey guys, just a quick update on my trades today. I was short earlier on Tesla around the open time. Since then, I am flat. It was a profitable trade for me because my charts were crashed. Now I'm back, and I would just comment that Tesla keep holding there around that 1130, 1128 level. So let's see where it goes. And by the way, guys, I want to remind you to smash the like button. Just 50 minutes left until the end of this trading day, and we deserve 1,000 likes. Please smash it right now and help the community. Back to you guys.
I was looking for Valeria Batman, but I don't have that on here. I'll have to put that back on here. So I'm just going to do this instead.
Dada.
Yeah, what up, Brandon? Okay, let's just keep on going there. Fisker, hello. This is going to be a banger, but we'll just do a roller coaster ride today for FSR as Ms. V talks about her Tesla trade. Sorry you have to see us now, but you do. There's Fisker. Oops, that's still Robinhood. I will talk about Robinhood, but there's Fisker. Nicely done again to the upside. Not nicely done, but just taking out some nice levels here. Now to the upside. We'll wait now. We took multiples out here, one at 10 and then one again at 18 as we're making moves to the upside. We first start to build our long at 90, then we took it at 02 again, and now we're starting to go up and away as Fisker rifles up the board as a top stock for me as well today there. Yeah. So I don't know, we used to have, so what I mean by Valeria Bat, I know she needs a Catwoman. Maybe we could do something. So we need that. If you can, maybe Rob, can you find it on there? Do you have it ready to locked and loaded? The Valeria Batman one. The Valeria Batman. I thought it was on my screen. I just want to show everybody what we did have for that. It's the same thing, but it's Valeria's face going round and round. I don't think you have it on there.
Also,
I was looking for the pew pew for you.
Oh, it's here.
Where?
It's right here.
You hit it.
That, my friends, is for the NVAX.
There we go. I was looking for
go.
it. You found it. Good job. Yeah, we want to pew some levels there, as Arun giving off the levels for you, but we are looking for Valeria Batman. Rob will just play that, and then it'll just come on the screen right there. Okay, so what do we like to see? Talk about Bradley here. Bradley Taylor, thank you. What do you like to see on level 2 for confirmation of a turn? I mean, really, I'm just looking for volume, whether or not it be on a level 2 or not. You know, we're looking for some wicks. What was that stock that I talked about? Was it AMD? Let's go back to AMD to talk about that reversal, because I think there is, you know, something to learn about this. This is my biggest... Hello, do it again. I think that, one more time. There it is. So, yeah, right over to Miss V. So good work there. Glad I thought about that. I'm going to put that on my board. Maybe we should do one with cat ears. That's the request, because apparently on the memes and movers. And then you got to give it to them over there too. Brad needs to hit that, or Miss V could hit her own little thing there. That was fun. Thank you, Rob, for that. So what I'm really looking for here on some of these plays, of course, when we're looking at an AMD, is if you see this little wick right down here that we're talking about, that happened with big volume. That volume comes after it. But I mean, obviously, I'd like to see a big volume on this wick as well. But as you're starting to make some of these new lows, you wick down there and you wick down there, then you get the reversal. So often that can be a telltale sign that you're going to get a reversal. The reason why I don't like to look too as, wow, I cannot believe I said AMD going back to 162 today. Here it goes back to 162, and I don't have the long when all I was doing was longing earlier. But I'm not talking about these wicks here. Maybe you can zoom in a little bit more, go full screen if we can right now. And these are bad prints, but it's just kind of like some of these wicks. Like there's one right here again. You make this bottom, then you tick down about 30, 40 cents, and then just rip right back upside. So that's some of the stuff that I look for on reversals. The reason why it's hard to look at a level 2 is, and I heard, and I always say on the show here, someone call the SEC because someone's spoofing or something. So a lot of the time it can be hard to say, hey, look at this size. That's going to be a reversal, because often size gets put up there fake. So a lot of the time there's some fake size there, so you got to watch out for that. But there goes AMD. I'm absolutely ashamed of myself well, not ashamed. I mean, I hope you guys had this, but we starred this, man, back to all-time highs, AMD, when we were at 158. So we believe in the trade, and we took it. And it is my #1 stock today, AMD. But as you can see, like, why not just hold these, because it dipped down $2 to $3 against me. Next time, maybe less shares, and we'll try to hold that. But there it is, AMD. Love this name. It's just being elevated. My last buy, actually, I recently bought NVIDIA at 312. We talked about that in the long-term account. So no recent AMD buys, but a couple of nice NVIDIA trades as well.
Yeah, one thing that just popped off on my radar is probably too late for the trade today, but something to mark off for tomorrow, actually. Teladoc. Finally cleared this 106. Well, we didn't clear it. The trigger went off when 106 hit. So it looks like 106 was the high point that we touched. But if we can get above 106 and stay above 106, there is definitely a trade to be made there, because that was the hesitation point after that initial move down off the opening on Friday, or not Friday, this is actually today, off the opening. Why is this the 1 minute chart? Let me pull up the 5. I normally don't use the 1. After the opening there, around this 106, there's been some hesitation. And if we can get above and stay above, there's going to be decent support points to work with as we move through this area. So, of course, I want 106 to break. I want us to trade above there and then come back in. We're probably going to, if we keep on going, we're probably going to end up at like 107 or something. Then we need to come into this support. If we can get back down, then we can get a trade going on the buy side. But it's going to take too long as traders, intraday traders, that need to be flat by the end of the day. We have 45 minutes. Odds are we're not going to get that time to let our trade work out. You need the time for a trade to work out as well, right? So as the futures go back towards their highs for the day, as AMD takes off and as Lucid takes off, we got to start looking at what are we going to do for tomorrow or even towards the end of the day. Because I'm not going to enter any new equity positions, but I am going to set up some trades. Now, TDOC was one. Another one that I'm setting up as well is NVIDIA. You just mentioned it, Sean.
Yes, sir.
It is actually taking off to its highs as well. NVIDIA towards 332 now on NVIDIA. I have 332 marked off, and I'll show you guys why. Let me zoom this puppy out. We just need the few days worth of data loaded out. Okay, we're going to need a little bit more, so let me go to a 15 because it's actually a few days old. It's actually going back to the 22nd or so. There's actually a decent amount of volume right here. Going back to the 22nd, in the afternoon session, there was actually a decent amount of volume sitting through this 330 going all the way up to 332. That's why I marked off 332. If let's get above, stay above, then we have old resistance to act as support for a long. It's up 5% today, up 17 bucks. So if we can stay strong tomorrow, there could be a nice little long on NVIDIA, maybe towards 344. I mean, you could hope, but the setup is going to have to be for tomorrow. It's not going to be today. What can we do though? All we can do at this point is just wait for these positions to work themselves out. Oh, there's a super chat. Nick, nice call on MTTR when I asked last week. What do you think of IBO? I'll take a look. We'll come back from Brendan.
I saw this story a few minutes ago, but nothing really moved on it, so I kind of passed on it. But the FTC apparently, guys, looking into some orders from Walmart, Amazon, Kroger, CNS, wholesaler, grocers, and a bunch of other retailers in an effort to kind of work out maybe where the kinks are as far as this supply chain issue goes. But I mean, nothing really happened. That came out kind of back here. But we're just starting to head back towards day lows here for some of these retailers anyways. Walmart seems to be leading the way.
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous about Walmart there. I'm also nervous about Disney, as Disney making like 52-week lows. I actually bought some more Win today as they got beat down. I mean, I want to go back. Obviously, have you been to Vegas? Neil always says he's never been.
I've never been to Vegas.
Okay. On that one as well, to the downside for that. I think that Win was beat down a little bit today. Disney, wow. Oh man, what a battle back for Disney. You know, Disney touched 144, and I mean, this is right as we were leaving the show, and I could not believe the collapse down here for Disney. I didn't think it's ready to buy yet, but if you want to talk about a stock, well, I mean, we are. I thought 140 was going to be the level. It looks like 144 there. We came right into this area, 140, and basically saw it. I don't know if that was Friday. That must have been Friday, man. I hope Neil picks them up down here, because we've been talking about, I dumped some at 175 pre-earnings there, and I wanted to buy back in around this 140 level. Now it's up to 148. Look, this is going to be a long-term trade for me, so these levels don't really matter. But again, Disney just continues its move to the downside. Let's see what happens with the variant again of concern. But if we get back down to this 140, we can't even crack there. I can't believe how hard we bounced off that. Wow, what a good bounce that was. Let me look at a 20-minute chart for this, as I didn't even realize what it did there on Friday. That's a 1 minute. Here's a 20-minute back in. Yeah, we touched. No, so okay, so that was not correct. Okay, so that, yeah, I didn't think so. So we actually didn't touch 140 on Friday. As I could see, that was just, I thought maybe it was possible after what happened off the open, but it looks like we only got as low as 146. It's actually today that we crushed down to 144, making those new lows, and now right back in. So I think Disney, again, we like the 150 area. If you're going to buy it on a 150 break, you might as well nibble now maybe at 148 and change. It would have been a great nibble down here earlier at 144, but that's pie in the sky trading for Disney. I mean, you can't get the ultimate bottom on that name, but again, one that should be maybe looked at. I was talking about Win there. Whoops, and I know this is a favorite of Jim Cramer, but I'm also not in any casino names. So today we noticed that Win took a dump on Friday and has been taking dumps for a while now. That's not nice to say. Let's say something else. Been going down for a little bit here, but we just were testing 100, and we bought this name at about, I want to say like 92 or 93, probably somewhere around here. We bumped, or maybe even earlier. What is this, middle of November? Yeah, maybe. We bought it somewhere around here, 92, 93. I wish this would fill up, but it did touch 100, and then obviously a big move downside there over the last couple of days as, you know, travel restrictions come through. I believe you have runway here to get back to 100. So if you wanted something, take best of breed again to steal another line from Cramer. But I really like Win down here where we're at. So I think if you're going to get into any casino names, there's Win. And then if you wanted something a little more local, so you don't have to worry about some of the Chinese, Macau sort of, you know, headwinds that a stock like a Win or an LVS. I mean, I like Las Vegas Sands as well, but MGM, you could see what a different name this is compared to the other two. MGM just still making moves upside. Obviously, we've all fallen down recently, but this one back at the 200 period looks like a decent buy on MGM as well. What's up, Brendan?
CTI Biopharma Corporation, I'm guessing, is just another one of these little tiny low float type biopharma stocks just popping up here on volume. Big volume spike, in fact, up to 280, which is back into these levels over here. But going to check on CTIC, you guys.
All right, let's go back to IBIO. Nick, your super chat, let's take care of that. This is the chart. This is the daily chart. I'm using the single chart here just so I can see what the markers look like or the areas that I want to see. This is going back to March of 2020, right? This is where that big spike happened. Initial big spike, second big spike happened in July, it seems like, where we went as high as $7.50 or so. It's been bouncing around, clearly around this $1 mark, $1.80. It makes sense, that's a round number. Now we're below it, trend is to the downside. We've got a ton of resistance to the upside. So I don't know which direction you're playing, whether it's to the downside or to the upside. If you are playing to the downside, my first question is, where's the stop? Because I would imagine the first clear location where this market isn't spending too much time is going to be at $3 even. So if playing any short would have to use $3 to the on the stop. So short, whether it's $1.50 or whatnot, using a $3 stop, if you're short $1.50 would mean you're risking pretty much the maximum you can potentially gain. So the shorts can only be really available north of 2 to make sense of the trade. Now, if you're playing to the long side, let's just say you're trying to catch a bounce off these levels. I mean, you're limited in terms of what the upside could be, because look at 120 and now 120 to 140. That's the area roughly where you're at looking. And there's a ton of volume. We spent a decent amount of volume between May 2020, then it looks like around March of this year, and then again, I imagine this is why the level is attractive to you. But at the same time, think about the volume that's there. Because every time we bounce from 120, it looks like around 160 is where we fell off. So between 120 to 160, there seems to be a decent amount of volume. Then you move up from there. Where's the next level potentially that you could use? Then you look at 180. Again, we're hesitating with more volume. So like I'm looking at this chart going, well, it's got to be $3. That's like the line in the sand for this stock. It needs to either get above $3 to go long, or shorts could be somewhere north of 2, risking $1, looking for it to go back to the bottom end of the range. That's the way I would look at it. Ideally, it's probably better off to put your capital in other places, just because the chart doesn't look like it's going to be one of those trades that's going to be a good use of your time in terms of essentially time value of money, right? Your cash could be tied up in this stock while it's bouncing around. So it might be better off to use other stocks to make that kind of a play. Not a fan of this type of a chart anyways. Brendan?
Interesting note on Microsoft. Guys, just out a little while back when we came on there, but CEO Satya Nadella selling about half, apparently, of his entire holding of shares in Microsoft, netting about $300 million. So nice move, obviously, from Microsoft, as we've discussed on this show. 2.3% here for Softy, Sean.
Guys, QLGN right now starting to pop through. I just want to bring this one quickly. It looks like 50. We'll take a 50 break on this name. Just understand that I'll be getting this out like 80s, stuff like that if we can come to the upside. We've touched here before. You could see if we break through. I wanted to show you quickly. Where's the 20-minute chart? It's gone now. So we'll minimize that. The daily, we'll call up the 20-minute here, QLGN. Just talking about what we were doing on Friday as, just as the market closed there. Or no, that's actually, no, that's Thursday. These 20-minute charts, because we had the holidays kind of messing up, but there we go. So now we're long. I was just going to say, we've already been up here into this area, 270, 280, 290, $3. So here we go. We are now long QLGN, long at 251, trying to see where we can go from here. But I think a good target area, this is what it looks like on the chart, around 280. Here we go, QLGN, we have this long, guys. I don't know where to target, but if we can get out maybe 65, 66 as our first bump, that's not bad. Taking 15 cents on a $2 name, there it goes. Shoot, turned right around. What was that high? 65 dead on. So we'll see if we can get a 65 out now. Hopefully it'll give us that. We'll come back. We'll put an offer at 64 there and see if we can get out right now. But right now, QLGN just took that out. Oh, man, it ran right into some of this level again. So, it needs to break. And this is what we talk about. You can't get perfect on every single trade. Like, if this name goes, that's fantastic, and we're going to have a nice win. There it is. There's 64. Let's go. So now we still have this. So take out a piece there at 64. But we are noticing that the high side on this name may be $3. So let's watch out. If I can get this out at $3, I'll do that, guys. QLGN ripping to the high side right now. We could take 50 cents on 250. We'll do that. Let's go. QLGN looking at $3. You've already been up here. I'm actually not going to look a gift horse in the mouth there. I don't have that. So if we can get up to $3, we're going to do that right now. 290 or so on this name as we just took it out. Piece of it. for 15 cents. There it is. What's up? I punched those things in the face. Bad idea to do that, apparently. But now we're going to go to the upside, 290 or so on QLGN. Here we go. Let's go. Just all we're trying to do right now, Arun, stack. So we're just stacking some cash here. Hopefully we're adding to our day, man. We're adding to our day. As Moderna right now, $2 against me. And of course, this will help, obviously. If we can get this upside, nice 20-cent win here. Looking for 40 up to 290 for QLGN.
Sean saying that it's a bad idea to punch a horse in the face. Wow.
Wow, that's rock. Yeah, that's new information there.
I mean, that's some balls there right there to even attempt or even think about doing something like that. Okay, let's go back to a couple updates on my positions here. Lucid, I'm going to move the trailing stop just below 54.40. Actually 54.30 to be fair. It's starting to get near the high end around that 55. So now we got to start protecting just in case we double top and come off. So in that event, I'm going to protect at least what I've got. It'll be about 20 cents or so in the money if we get stopped out there. Of course, we're going to let it go, but that's just a new location for the stop. And then AMD as well. I'm going to move the trailing stop just below 61. Let's protect about 80-something cents there in the event that it turns around, because the imbalances do come out in about 20 minutes, just over 20 minutes or so, 23 minutes. You never know how these things come out. I mean, yes, AMD's up 4%. You would think that on a day where it's up quite a bit, the imbalances could be positive, but you never know. So until it hits 350, we don't know how this is going to come out. So let's just protect in the event that it does come out in the opposite direction. So NVIDIA is one we're looking at. We're just going to protect Lucid and AMD. And Sean's still riding that QLGN, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, we're going to see where it goes from here on that QLGN. I just gave a target to myself there back around 40. So something like this. If we break back down below 40, we will get out of QLGN. But right now, thanks for the like there. So people like that talk on QLGN in some of the foregoing action. So thank you so much for that. And we'll see where QLGN wants to go to the upside. If we can get more likes, that would be fantastic. We got Miss V at the desk here. We got my main man Arun, who will be in the building again tomorrow. So that'll be awesome. Great to have Arun in here tomorrow. As Neil, one more time, like, hey, you want to take any more days off, bro?
No, please don't.
Yeah, so Neil hopefully will be back in the building. Nothing's going to stop me, though. Look at this. Well, besides forced vacations, which, Neil, we've talked about that all the time. There's a big buyer there. Was 100,000 shares, now 700, or now 75,000 shares there. Was 100. Now we're trying to get chewed down. Again, 45 million shares. It's not that I'm worried about this, but there you go. See, just going to get chewed up. And that's why there you go. So that's why it's hard. And I think it was Brian James who mentioned, like, what do we look for turns and stuff like that? You don't look at that size. Like, I mean, you know, when you're trading a stock like this, it'll just go right through that size. If anything, once that size is chewed up, that would have been an indicator to get out of the trade, not to still hold it. So we'll wait to see what happens. I'm still hoping for a 290 print on this name. I am realizing, though, right now, guys, that if I didn't get out of half already, I would right now. We did good getting out at 64, 65. But again, it's battling around some of these highs. We've talked about QLGN being stuck in here again. So it's stuck in the middle. Here it goes, 270, 278. Let's go QLGN. See, start to go there and then faded one more time. So we got to stay up. Yeah, shoot. Oh man, I'm holding this, but I don't know. Part of me says we shouldn't. We're only in the money 15 cents, so we'll give this a go. But it looks like it's just failing up here, 260, 265. This is probably a good turning spot for QLGN, but I'm still waiting for that 90. Holding out hope, just like we did on Fisker, man. We rolled that all the way to the top. That's still Fisker. Fisker goes all the way to 20s. We do good to get out of 2/3 of our trade. Now it's coming back in a little bit. We're still long Fisker at 03. We did initially start this position right when the show started. We started the position right there at 21.90, took it out at 22 evens. That's just a dime. And then we took it again there. We took a piece out for a dime and then another piece out for 15s or 16s there, as now Fisker falling back in. So I can update you guys on Moderna, but it ain't pretty. Once again, we get a little too greedy with this name, and I feel like we should have just waited. If we knew that it was going to, I mean, we didn't know it was going to come back up here, we would have waited, but if this was going to be our level of concern, I should have let the stock fade, or I guess run into this level instead of taking this a little bit against me here. So again, you know, you're playing with fire when you're shorting this Moderna, but today, that's all I've been doing. Every single one of these purple ticks is a short. I don't have any initial longs on here. So yeah, Moderna has been definitely definitely a thorn in my side today. One of the only names we're negative on, that CCL as well. And then we took a little hit on the XOM trade. But for right now, I'm hoping that Moderna can come back in, but we are barcoding at the top. I'm wondering if imbalances will get me out of this one way or the other. We're still waiting at 62 to get out, so we'll wait for VWAP break, downside, or a 70 break on the upside. So right now it's looking more like we'll get stopped out than we'll win on this trade, but I still hold out hope that this barcoding means a downward move.
Yeah, and as we're talking though, like AMD is just taking off here, north of 162 now on AMD as well. Lucid also above 55 now. Now we got to protect this big time, because what happens when you take out a round number, stops go off? Then what happens if they can't maintain that momentum? It could be a snapback to the downside. So I'm tightening the stops up just in the event that 55 can't be held after breaking through. AMD is running through like a freight train through that 162. I'm seeing volume go off. They're just chewing through it. So we'll see how this one plays out. But at this point, with futures going sideways and not doing a whole lot, we're definitely going to have to wait for these imbalances on these two names. Well, Lucid, to be fair, it may not have to wait until an imbalance comes out. It could just be a fail of the 55 break, which will get me out. But AMD, I think, the way we're trailing this anyways, is definitely going to have to be one of those names that that is going to have to be waiting. We're going to have to wait for the imbalances to come out. Someone was asking, show us your futures trades. There are none.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about.
There's no trades. There's no trades on the futures. Not at the moment anyways. The way it's been moving today, it's tough to get a handle on it. So there might be something later, but I'm not sure. I'm more focused on AMD at the moment, just because it's one of those things where it is taking off, and if it gets too high too fast, I got to get some out. I've still got my full position. I haven't taken anything out, so we do need to protect this a little bit. And as I talk about Lucid is north of 55.20 now. It just crossed 55.20. So still going strong on Lucid. And I just want to say one thing, man, NVAX, after hitting 210, we are back towards 200. So timing was awesome on that. But keep an eye. That also means the reason I got out of this, because around 208, there was a decent amount of volume coming in. That's the only reason I got out of this trade. So keep an eye on that area, 208 through 210 for tomorrow, because that could be a nice little play in the event that we go south of 200 and come back into that area. There could be a nice little trade there to potentially fade. So those are the three things I'm looking at. Futures going sideways, sitting at 46.63, not doing a whole lot. It might take the top, it might take the bottom, but I think we may be running out of time to do anything with it, really.
Spin it. So right now, QLGN does take out that high. So Arun, patience finally paying off. So, we've definitely misstepped on Moderna, not taking $3, $4, $5 winners, but we'll do something very, very similar, man. We'll take 40 cents right there, taking this out. So really, really happy with that trade coming through, man. 290. And again, we're out of the trade. So whether or not you think it's paper hands or whatever, we just go like this, mamma mia, because that was a nice little level for us, man. It came right in to 290. We called that level. I hope some of you at least got something out there. It's at 285. So you could still get out now. It could still rip higher. I'm going to be done with this for today and just be like, thank you so much for that 20% return in about 10 minutes. We'll take that all day. 40 cents on 250. I don't know if my math is accurate, but that should be about 20% there, as my net is reflecting a nice little win on that name. And I just tweeted out how crazy embarrassing it is that, it's not embarrassing. I mean, I'm glad we put it on the board for you with AMD, but wow, what a great mover that's been. As Disney, what up, Mickey? He just turns, it was his birthday a couple weeks ago, and the stock has been getting absolutely pummeled, but happy birthday, Disney. You back on the green side of things right now, up 0.11. There goes Disney, off to the races here. A beautiful move up. I'm assuming it's just, again, more talk about the variant possibly maybe not being as severe as once thought, but I cannot believe the turnaround here. I can believe it, it's only $4, but wow, almost a perfect U-shape, as if something happened here at about 11:30, no idea, boom to the upside. I guess that's the close of the European markets. And then just an upside boom. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. And then also, I mentioned runway and having a big runway. I think this is the best name to trade. We talked about that earlier. I said I wanted a long 330. And again, on the sticky note, we talked about going long Microsoft 331, 334 this morning. Do you see any 334s in here? I don't. Another fail by yours truly. What's up, Brendo?
I was just checking on a couple of things here, guys. First off, this AERC day highs. What a move this thing's had today. on a staggering 150,000 shares now. This is 65. We're at 95 for AERC. I wanted to show you YCBD as well. There was a story on this in the pre-market, just starting to get back towards $2 here on decent volume as well, up 30%. They're teaming up with Amazon platform partner Amify for YCBD, guys.
But that's a CBD, like a hemp company, isn't it? Because I thought there was like, we might have had them on before or something similar to that, YCBD. So YCBD, why not CBD? How about that? Okay, so let's just go here. I see some people talking. What's up, Shib Army? What's up to all my crypto maniacs or crypto files? What do they call people that love crypto? Including yours truly there. Solana, nice little bounce up here. This is a 24-hour period here in the middle. Nice little bump for them. Nice little bump for Cardano. We bought some, but still 160 is pretty low for that name. I believe being held down. We're going to wait for some more announcements about some future projects there with Cardano. Hopefully that goes. We know Solana's been hot, as well as that's come back in. My last buy there was 194. And then just to look here, Rallycoin is moving as well. Polygon, again, another big name. I like, that's Matic is the trade there, the crypto name Matic for Polygon. Again, big into the NFT space. So look into that if you like some NFTs. I'm very, very interested in Litecoin. I've dumped all my Litecoin, but again, looking to get back in as that's been a nice runner, one of the originals. I had some Litecoins stolen from me on Quadriga, if you guys know about that, a website that was an exchange in BC, in Vancouver. I shouldn't say, it's British Columbia, I don't know the town, but that guy screwed off and left, or apparently died.
Supposedly.
Yeah, I shouldn't say that, maybe he did, but I don't know. Anyways, all those keys lost, like hundreds of millions of dollars lost. And that's part of the problem. I remember we had, for FTX there on last week, Ben from FTX, and you know, he was talking about, I talked to him about cold storage, and that's part of it, man. Like, learn my lesson as well. Take your coins off exchange if you're not planning on trading them, because why even have them sitting? Even in he mentioned, you know, and without saying Coinbase, he kind of just said, you know, if you're with the more capitalized exchanges, the chances of them being hacked just to do the resources and things like that, more unlikely. But again, like, that's why I asked him. I mean, he's the guy, and he mentioned the same thing, that if you're confident with cold storage, might be an option for a lot of people as well. So yes, all right, let's go back and forth there on that. I do like crypto, and for right now, I'm liking what I'm seeing with Moderna, as it just did. And again, there it is, man. We're short at 366. It just touched 364.50. So again, another $1.50 winner that we don't take. I don't know, man. I'm hoping that this can fall. Maybe I'm going to pull this bid. I'm going to pull this 362 and see what happens when it gets down there, just in case it does take a dump there in about, that's a bad word, in case it goes down when we get ready to go here on the imbalances, Arun. So I know you're out of your NVAX, which turned out to be a fantastic trade. Yeah. And now we'll just wait to see if I can rinse and repeat that with Moderna. Wouldn't mind it testing somewhere around here, 358, 360. That's a pretty decent area for me to get out. But I am also willing to get out. What I wanted to do is test VWAP here. If it goes down, great. If not, and it wants to bounce off there, then that's where we'll get out. But right now, Moderna looking like it wants to move down, as it hasn't taken out 370 days high.
Yeah, so a couple of things I want to talk about. Lucid, remember I told you guys, if 55 can't maintain, if they can't stay strong above 55, I want out. Yeah, I'm done. 55 should have held. That was the big round number towards the end of the day, that if we can get above it and stay above it and trade well, there's a shot for that trade to keep on going. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case. I'm perfectly okay. I mean, I was long at 54 and change. 54.11, I believe. I got out at somewhere around average price of 87, so that's about 76 cents in the money after failing. And we have to get out towards the end of the day. We have to be flat, right? So I mean, taking 77 cents as we're walking away from this market, kind of losing a little bit of steam here, it makes perfect sense for me. The only thing I'm waiting on now is AMD imbalances. We'll tighten this up, maybe somewhere below 160, 150, put a 50-cent stop from where it is right now. In the event, these imbalances come out in about 9 minutes. In the event that it's a sell-side imbalance, then I think it's something I do have to protect against, so we'll let that be. Futures, again, do not a whole lot of anything here. If we can get up below 60 and stay below 60, there might be a trade there, but for the time being, I'm not sure that I want to get involved in anything just yet. NVAX, man, NVAX is just gone, back to 193 now. So it is accelerating to the downside. Of course, we're running out of time. So would you step onto this trade today? Probably not, or definitely not. But like I said, around 208 going up to 210, there is some volume there that you want to mark off as levels. These are pretty much areas that essentially turn into levels on the chart after the fact. So you see it on the screen, you see how the volume flows through certain areas, and then as it trades longer and longer, then it looks obvious on the chart. But sometimes it shows on the level 2 more. If you have the experience and you watch level 2s, you're like, oh, that doesn't look right. Something's not right about that move. Or it's hesitating quite a bit there. I wonder why. Well, it shows up on the chart at some point later on. But some of that stuff, to jump on ahead of time, it's going to have to come through the tape, right? And that's what that exit was all about there in that 208. I'm just saying mark off that area because it will be an important one in the event that we go back up there one more time.
Okay, so you've heard both Arun and myself obviously talk a little bit here about the imbalance locator. So that's going to be coming through very, very soon, like in approximately 8 minutes or so. We'll have the imbalance locator come through, and then we'll talk about that. And it's just going to be bids and offers. I can show it to you coming through here now. None of this is going to be accurate 9:30, 9:30, 9:30, but we'll see some market on close orders coming in. And I'm hoping, and again, can't control it, but we're hoping that something happens here on Moderna, because that's a name that we're looking for to get to the downside right now. So, okay, ready to rock and roll here. All right, PTPI again. Let's check back in on QLGN just quickly. So far so good. Looks like that was a good out. We resisted at $3. Watch out for that take. This name may run in the post market. So watch out for aftermarket runner here on QLGN. I still think that there's a possibility for that to happen because right now we're just having problems getting through 3. But as liquidity dries up and it's aftermarket, you could pop on QLGN. Here we go, Moderna. Here we go. Back on so right now we could take the bid, right? We were printing 30s, so we could take this out at 30, which would be $1.60 in the money. And once again, we don't do it. So let's see what Moderna wants to do now. Short right now. There we go. Printing the bid. We're short at 365.90. You can see what's printing right here, 40s, 30s. So again, another $1.50 in the money. Don't take it. Hoping that this can come to the downside on some of those imbalances. It's a NASDAQ imbalance, so that's going to get hit at 350 as well.
Yeah, they all come out at the same time.
Yep, exactly. So, and then Twitter here as well, bouncing off. That looks ugly. Sorry about that, guys. There's no trading happened at 48, but some dark pool prints went off there, so that's what it looks like. And as you can see, if we zoom this back, we've done a pretty good job of holding 46. It looks like we dipped down as low as 45.90-ish, 90, 93, 94. I guess I can just look, that lower the day's wrong. But it looks like we dipped down below 45 there, but then 46, but we held. So that's, again, another good look. Let's see if we have, we don't have any reversal candles down here, but that 45, it looks like a good hold there. I would have liked to see a wick down and then a break back to the upside to really seal that deal. AMD looks like it takes that out and falls back down. Roblox, so Roblox was an interesting name. I actually wanted to look at this if it took out the high of 130, but again, Roblox doing kind of the opposite of Unity, and I kind of think that they're very, very similar in many ways. So, but again, without knowing, I know much more about Roblox as I'm invested in Roblox as far as their quarter goes. But Unity, again, getting smacked down, but I like Unity right there. We've been selling Roblox at these levels. Still looks like wants to take out the high. What's up, Brenda?
A few people talking about Peloton here, guys. We had a nice bounce off the low as well. Kind of looks like Disney's chart, but not quite as severe. This was when that Lululemon headline came through, and then they said ho-hum and kept buying. So we're trying to hold 44.5 now for Peloton, 3.8%.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of stocks come off a little bit. You're seeing the futures come off. Now we're below 60 for the first time in a while since we got up here late in the morning. And now AMD's coming off. Obviously, we saw NVAX falling off. Lucid is failing around 55. This could just be a profit-taking thing, right? A lot of people have made a lot of money going long today. If you went long early in the morning around the lows, 46.25 on the futures, here you are sitting on a 40, 30, 35, 40-point winner, and translates to stocks as well. And then what happens when people do that? Well, you take profit. You take profit because you're up doing quite well. So you're seeing the sell-off coming off. You're seeing the sell-off happen now. So it's just one of those things. Don't freak out. Your stock that you may be long in is kind of due for somewhat of a profit-taking move. So here we are waiting for this to kind of come through a little bit. AMD, we're still waiting on the futures to kind of bring us the imbalance, see if we can't bring in a move, maybe to the downside, preferably to the upside. I mean, I'm protecting against a downside move. But we'll see. We'll tighten up the stops somewhere south of 160, 150 and see if we can actually get a move going.
Okay, yeah, good call on that one. We actually took the short as well. They're just a small trade here on the triple Qs. As you know, I'm going to be short Moderna. We are near the highs there, so what you just talked about there made some sense to me. And we'll just wait to see. Let's just check because it's hard to trade the Qs to the short side, especially if its beloved stock is still okay. So good and. By beloved stock, of course, there's only one to talk about. That's going to be Apple there. So Apple coming down through here. Looking at this number 160 in change. If Apple can crack through back down through 160, then yeah, that should definitely elevate this triple Q position. So if that can happen, then that'll be a good move to the downside. We know that the triple Qs are also, and again, the NASDAQ market also being influenced by softy. I mean, all of these names are at breaking spots right now. So I like this look, and we'll just see what happens now moving forward. As you just mentioned, Arun, AMD came off and whatnot. So we'll just keep on going with some of these names. Let's look at JP Morgan. I want to look at the banks today. Often we don't look at them, but I think as an investable idea, there could be something there for this. So 161 coming down, JP Morgan. I mean, look at this flush again, all the way down to 159 and change. Okay, it's starting to go Moderna, but I just want to talk about JP Morgan again. You know, these are decent buys. I'm already in JP Morgan. If I was going to make a position on something else, I think I would probably rotate back over to Morgan Stanley on a daily chart. You know, they're at some little bit better levels in my opinion anyways. Oh man, where's my day chart? I closed that thing again. We're getting very, very close, man. Only 2 minutes to go here. And I think it's probably worth taking a bit more on the triple Q short. So we'll average into this one. We just took some 80s right there on the downside. So we'll see if that's going to keep on moving down. Oh, no, now it's starting to itch back upside right now on this play. But again, we do have the imbalance coming out in about a minute and a half. So we're going to see about this NASDAQ. I'm putting some bids down here, man. 399.50, 399 and change. We'll see if it takes it out. If we do get busted out to the upside, we'll lose. If this boat goes too much more above 400, looking at like $400.50, something like that as an out. But at that point, you might as well wait for the high of the day. So the imbalance is coming out in just about a minute. So we'll see where those go. Fisker's been just battling back and forth, man. I mean, we could take another long, honestly, with only 10 minutes to go and these imbalances coming out, you know, we could see where we're going to go, but I don't think it's going to go too crazy from here. Now, less than that coming out right now with less than a minute. I think this is a good opportunity. We'll just load up one more time, not load up, but we'll take another position here on the triple Qs. One last time, average price 90 or 80, 87. We'll put a bid down low in case it does print something, you know, 70, something like that. As here it comes, getting ready to rock and roll here with the imbalances, getting ready to come out. We'll see where we go from here. It looks like it's going to be a downside move. So here, well, I mean, who knows? But we'll see what's happening in less than 30 seconds.
Where are the imbalances? Yeah, the market's moving back up, actually aggressively moving back up. We'll see how this comes out. Yeah, you can take it.
Yeah, okay, I just want to look at APVO coming through right now. 1040, people talking about APVO making some moves right now. Moderna just kind of cruising to the downside. Here's APVO. Looks like it's going to be at this key level, man. Don't let 1030 break. You guys are trading APVO. There it is. It just broke right now. So watch out for this name. Starting to go back to the downside here. And here comes the imbalances. It looks like we're out 350. So yeah, it looks like it was one move down. And I don't know if there's going to be another. Where's my imbalance locator? Let's have a quick look at this. As Apple, yes, sir, Arun, comes out as a big time sell.
Yeah, so AMD, it looks like it was a buy to the upside here on AMD. Nice little move. So buy side imbalance on, it looks like it's a mixed bag of different numbers here. AMD to the buy side, looks like Apple. Sean was saying Apple's to the, AMD's to the buy side, Apple's to the buy side. Looks like tech names.
No, Apple sell side.
Oh, Apple sell side.
Yeah, so right now we have Coke sell side, Apple sell side. We are just crushing this imbalance here, by the way. Good trading so far on that as we'll just keep getting it out. Downside here, you guys know we put on extra risk there for this, and it was just near the high. So now we'll just start to piece it out as we're getting very, very close. Moderna did go to the downside. This is what the imbalances look like. You can see Apple, you know, here's the tick, man. We did break that 160 there on that imbalance. We got as low as 159.98, so no big deal. But you're right at that breaking level one more time here for Apple. As you can see, this is starting to go down. What did Coke do on that imbalance? As this is a big sell. That's kind of strange. Oh yeah, Coke down a dime there. Not big, but that's what that is. I don't see much else. There's Moderna. Moderna, give me a break again, man. That thing goes all the way down, man. Puts us $3 in the money and we don't take it. Let's see if Moderna, if this doesn't pair off down here on Moderna, then this should accelerate downside. But that stopped at 363 there. I think this is worth it, man. If we can end our day at the highest level we've been at all day, which is what we're doing right now, then I think that that's a win for me. So let's put a bid here on Moderna. Well, no, let's not actually. Let's let this fall through. Man, our Qs trade is hot fire right now, so that's working out for us to the downside. So
really? Is it? It's crazy because I'm looking at the imbalance.
It's not really. I mean,
because I'm looking at the imbalance. It is moving to the downside. Yeah, it's making money. Like I was just wondering. I'm just
now it's going, buddy.
Oh, now it's going. Yeah. Keep in mind at 355, there's usually a secondary update from the floor when it comes to the imbalances. Right now, I'm seeing mixed bag, but it could be just Apple. There's a lot of interest in Apple, man. 1 million shares, 4 million paired. So the total imbalance is like nearly just over 5 million shares total. That's a lot for an imbalance. You know, yes, in the name of Apple, it might not be because it tends to trade a ton of shares. But Apple imbalances, we normally don't get imbalances somewhat north of 1 million on Apple that actually stay this long. Sometimes it flashes in and kind of disappears. But Apple sell side, Vail sell side, Coke sell side. What else do we have? Pfizer, again, a big vaccine name that we've been looking at, 872 on the sell side. So decent sell side volume, but there are some buy side imbalances as well. Brendan?
This is the first time for everything, I guess. I've never seen an offering, guys, at 350 in the afternoon. QLGN, 8.8 million notional in an offering at 150, guys. So QLGN just did that.
Fun.
Come over to my screen. Honestly, sometimes you got to be lucky to be good and good to be lucky. Like, we had no idea, obviously, that offering was coming, but this is why, guys. Like, as long as you, this is why I got out. Like, literally, look where I got out. Basically, the high, and then you're down $1 from that level. So, no idea. I can't pat myself on the back for saying, oh my God, I can't believe, anybody held that, or I'm so glad I got out there. I just got out because you're at some of these levels, and there you go. So QLGN saved right there. For me anyways, we got saved by that QLGN trade. So wow, good out for me there, or else I'd be real pissed if that was the case. And it looks like Moderna one more time, man. I mean, let's just, I don't know, what should I do, Arun? I mean, maybe it doesn't really matter. I
say wait. Do you have a position?
Wait for 355.
Yeah, wait for the 355 update because that's when these stocks tend to move more, right? Because you're either getting the imbalance bigger in the direction that it's already at,
so here it is,
or it's going to flip back around. And if it flips back around, then the market's going to completely reverse. So AMD, what I'm looking for is AMD was a buy side. It looks like it was a buy side imbalance because it popped from 162 to 164.50. I want to see what this 55 brings. If 55 comes in and on the sell side and we get back underneath to 162, I'm just going to dump it. There's no point. Another trade I'm seeing, NVIDIA took out that 332 level. It was hesitating at pretty much for an hour, 45 minutes or so. Finally, now it's at 333.46. Again, imbalance pushed it up higher. So keep an eye on this as we get closer to that 355 number. In about 15 seconds, we should get an update from the floor. Let me pull up the imbalance locator.
Yeah,
here.
I just had it there. I think Moderna's gone, man. I mean, it was a big sell there, and now it's gone. So yeah, so there goes Moderna ripping upside. The sell is gone, and you could see what it's doing. So I took the risk, and it looks like we're going to lose on this trade, which is fine for me, man. We took the risk. We talked about that risk, and there it is, the 355 imbalance update. And I don't even see Moderna. Remember, it was a 600,000 share sell. Now it's coming back in, and I don't see it at all here. So yeah, we're going to get hit on this trade for sure. On Moderna. And again, greed definitely plays a part in this trade, man. We should have been much more aggressive on that play. So yeah, we'll be out of that, and we'll be out of our Qs trade as well, as that just went upside. But again, we got out basically for flat there at 400. So that breaks and we go higher. So holding out for some of these imbalances, sometimes they're great. We showed you some of those, and then sometimes, like on Moderna, when the imbalance flips. So the other side of this is part of the risk that we took, right? This imbalance, if it doesn't flip, right, then you probably are testing some of these lows. So, not lesson learned, because we knew that would happen to us. But there goes Moderna again, a very, very crazy name. I'm going to slip a bid down here. Maybe we get tested at 364. We can make about that $2 after all anyways. But right now, Moderna just has 4 minutes to go. And I have the imbalances up here just to show you. Pfizer's a sell. You can see that was $55 today, guys. Now down to 52. Look, see what's happening? That sell stays, and it continues to move down on that. It actually touched 52.10 at 355 on a sell, staying opposite of mRNA.
Yeah, so I dumped AMD as soon as 355 hit, and I knew it was going to be. You could see the reaction in the stock. It wasn't going to be positive. I just dumped it right in front of 30. Once 162.29 was the exit, and I'm done. This thing's back at 162. Looks like imbalance flipped to the sell side or got smaller. So we're going to walk away. Somebody in the chat was asking what are imbalances. I'm going to do a quick primer on this. I feel because we're talking about it so much.
Sure.
Imbalances essentially are people that need to, they want to capture the official closing price that will be sent through the floor. So whatever the prices that you see as the closing prices on any website, that's the official closing price, right? So what the imbalances are allows you to participate in creating that price. Now, a lot of people are on the buy side, on the sell side, everything gets matched. When it's matched, you're in this column here, paired value. What isn't matched shows on this side, 1.7 million. That means there's 1.7 million shares more to sell on top of the 2.6 that has been matched. So this tends to create pressure on the stock, whichever direction the imbalance is. So in this case, Pfizer has a sell side imbalance of 1.7 million. As you can see on my screen here, it's constantly getting updated because new people are putting more orders in. If new sizes are being brought into the market. So everything's changing. As you get closer and closer to 4 o'clock, the official closing price, this number tends to shrink because more people are willing to offset the move that happens in the stock. Let's pull up Pfizer real quick. We've got about a minute and change, or 2 minutes and change. Pfizer is at 52.32. Now, it's 1.6 million shares on a stock that has done 64 million shares. Though you can say that it's not going to be that much pressure on a stock like that. You could, even though since the imbalance came out, it has been negative. Now, if we were to go to KO, it's done 15 million shares, but the imbalance is 1.36. So now you start to see the pressure. It was trading at 54.72 when the stock at 350 imbalances came out, and now you're starting to see it trade 12 cents below, and that's the kind of pressure you get. So it's just one of those things where you want to participate in the official closing price. Then you throw an order with an on-close tag, which shows up in our little locator here. And everyone has access to this. It's just a matter of finding your broker and what it's called and where it is in the system. Ours is just called an imbalance locator. So we look at this, be like, oh yeah, you know what, Pfizer has got 1.5, KO's got 1.3. Maybe there might be some sell-side pressure being taken into the stock, and you're seeing it in KO. That's kind of the basic, very basic way of looking at it. It's just a matter of, can I participate on the official closing price with an on-close order tag? Anyone who wants to is going to be put in this little batch of volume here.
Yeah, good explanation there. And Arun's back tomorrow. It's been a fantastic day. There's not too many earnings to talk about. We have Salesforce. I love Salesforce. That's been a big stock. And yeah, they closed their deal, and now they're rocking, man. $300, a nice little move for Salesforce on the 20-minute. They've been beat down a little bit here, but I still do like Salesforce. We'll see what they're going to report. They shouldn't report any supply chain or anything like that. Obviously, a huge tech company, so nothing to worry about with Salesforce. It looks like, man, we're going to get out of our Moderna probably on this break to the upside now as we're getting ready to end the day. 368, 369. It doesn't look like it's going to take anything out. It's just stopping. It's not going to the upside. We're going to get out if it breaks through 369 with only 15 seconds left. No idea what this is going to do here into the close. Probably take out that high, and then we'll get punched out. So we'll watch out here as we only have 4, 3, 2, 1. Who's on the bell?
Nobody.
Great,
ding, ding, ding,
great,
ding, ding,
great,
ding, ding.
great, great. So that was an epic fail, but there we go. Miss V's running over there. We could just show Miss V as it gets going there. So, no, just show her. Just show her. Don't drop the bell. Just show her. There we go. There's Miss V. What's up, Miss V? Thank you so much. As the bell is now done, over with.
All right, well, market's closed. Good to know that the market closed for a second time.
Yep, Moderna went to the upside there. We got out of that trade, didn't feel anything. So thank you, Ms. V. Always nice to have her as we close a little bit late there. But Brendan, how did the markets wind up?
As we said to start things off this afternoon, what a difference a weekend makes. Nicely positive right across the board, guys. 1.3 to the upside for the S&P. 2.2% here for the NASDAQ. All the tech sector deeply into positive territory. Even cryptocurrencies, nice bounce back after, wasn't a great weekend for cryptos. So good to see everything in positive territory, guys.
Yes. Yeah, actually, crypto started to go up a bit at 4,400, 58,000, 4,400 for Ethereum, 58K for Bitcoin as I get ready to rock and roll. But yeah, this has been a fantastic day. Once again, thank you, Arun, for filling in for my partner. And Neil's back on Wednesday, and you're back tomorrow. Should be absolutely fantastic. Give a big shout out to my man, Trader Prad. What's up, Trader Prad? Would never want the Maple Leafs to face Trader Prad on the ice because there'd be some bows being thrown around there, I think. Trader Prad, get out of my way. Right to Austin Matthews. And big thank you as well to Ms. V, very aggressively running to the bell there. So that was very nice. Thank you, Ms. V, for that one. Always many thanks. Thank you to Lucas for reminding us that we need him. And also a big thank you to Rob and to Maggie as well for running the ones and twos there. Thank you so much, guys. What a fantastic day it's been. And I've already thanked you, so but I will be seeing you tomorrow. What a great day. Any last thoughts?
Not at all, guys. Every day is another trading day, especially tomorrow because it's the end of the month. That might bring some volatility. So don't forget to tune in tomorrow because there will be some activity given how the market's traded in the last couple of days.
Holla, I like that. Yeah, good talk there. I'm excited for everything, man. I mean, I'm excited every single day. So join us back here tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be able to hold on to some of our AMD trades there. Give us one name, Brendan. What was your favorite stock to trade today? Can you remember that?
Applied DNA.
Applied DNA. All right, we'll look for that. What's that symbol again, my man?
APDN.
There we go. We'll look for that tomorrow. We'll look for more and more trades. We'll be looking on CRM, NVIDIA, AMD, Apple, Softy, QLGN. It should be another fun one. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for the trade of the day. It was CCL. We'll see how I screwed that one up. And we'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:30. Have a great evening.